protests in the street, particularly in D.C., and I want to piggyback for a second on Zoya's objective analysis point, because I think it's really important. And I was pumping my fist last session when Zoya was speaking about this revolutionary solidarity. I was quietly doing that back here. And some of that objective analysis is that I cover protests in the street, particularly in D.C., and 9 days after Trump was elected, we had thousands of liberals right here in D.C. saying no Muslim ban, fighting his immigration policies by the thousands. Well, you know what? Joe Biden kept those immigration policies not only in place, not only Stephen Miller's Title 42 in place and deporting Haitians and other undocumented people by the thousands, but upped the immigration budget by $312 million. Not only did Joe Biden, after the greatest uprising, civil rights uprising in decades, if not ever, in the post-George Floyd era, not only did he say fund the police, fund the police, fund the police, but he did so by the tune of $87 million. Not only did he increase Trump's military budget, co-sign it, he increased it by about $30 billion, and that was before Ukraine. So when we have an objective analysis, and we looked at math, not speeches, not rhetoric, not Uncle Joe, then there's an actual statistical basis to what we're talking about. And if you're going to disagree with that, then you need to come with some math to disagree with that. To your point about the third-party candidates, it even goes further than that. If you watch the 2020 primaries, if there was a fringe candidate who dared to say something outside the box, like there was one time Marianne Williamson talked about the regime change efforts in Latin America, and in about a second, the moderator just turned the camera away put on music and wrapped it up like, Ms. Williamson, you're not supposed to say that in front of all these millions of people. So if you know that you're going to get cut off as a Democrat sort of outside candidate, what do you think that says about third-party candidates?
Welcome, everybody. You're with Rome and CJ right now. We're something just popped up, so we decided to stream. I wanted to start out with that video because the video kind of is on topic for what we're going to be talking about today. And I wanted a little time to get everybody trickle in. We're at 130 right now. And the comments is off the chain. So for real, like the comments and before we even get started. So welcome everybody on Rockfin. Welcome everybody on Twitter. Just a little programming note before we get into this, the real shit. Just a programming note. This is likely going to be a long stream. I was going to do this stream and then do a separate stream at 3 p.m. Eastern when I'm bringing on the Red Berets to just talk about just some general things. But so I created one and it's going to bleed. So this is going to be another long stream like we did yesterday. So hang tight. This is going to be long, but we got a lot to say. Doing a chat check. Welcome everybody. So you want to start with the video, or you want to like set it up, or you want to just start right into the video?
Yeah, we can set it up, because I do want to say that like a lot of these comments do agree. Jordan is a hard worker. You know, he's damn near a perfectionist when it comes to being on the ground reporting. Nobody does it like him. Nobody will go into certain neighborhoods. He came to Detroit. He went to Boston. He went here and there. Okay, but his political instincts just isn't there. You know, it's like some people are so smart that they don't have any, you know what I'm saying, common sense. And for you to travel and talk to all these people, and you know, they telling you how they have been cheated from their vote, to, you know, how they feel better because of their vote. If you was to go and you're taking in all this information from different people, I think that you should learn. You know what I'm saying? You should take something from these people if you are on the ground like that. Because I'm on the ground also, and I hear just about the same thing, you know, about Joe Biden, how people have regrets of voting for Joe Biden and et cetera, et cetera. So if I hear that, I know this man has to be hearing it. And, you know, I would never let my audience get to the left of me. That's a problem.
Right. And what I have to say, and I'll just say what I said to Rome before we got on here. And I haven't read the comments, but I heard what you said, Rome. This is not a bash Jordan thing, because we respect the work that Jordan does. We have to understand, when we're on the left, we're going to have disagreements. He said what he said. We want to be able to say what we think about it. This is not like necessarily attack on him. We've had disagreements in the past, he and I in particular, over Jim Perlman, but that's what it is. So and one thing I do like about Jordan, because I'm the same way, if he hears this video and he has a reply, he doesn't really care what we think. That's the type of person he is, and I'm like that too. I don't really care. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. So, but this is what we think, and this is we're gonna break this down, the video. So let me share the screen and put the video up. Rome, I'll let you kind of handle the comments, because I'm gonna be kind of starting this video. So what we'll do is, first, there are sections. We'll play the first 45-second section that we'll talk about first. We'll play it all the way through, Rome. Let's let it go all the way through. Right. So we need to mute ourselves. We'll mute ourselves, and then we'll come back and then just start it over and go point by point. So I just want to say that. So yeah, it's about 45 seconds to a minute. We're gonna play here. Let me make sure sound and everything looks good, and it does. So let's go.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm not predicting it. Status Quo will be there in Cleveland. We'll be on the ground because we cover these races. Frankly, this might get me into trouble, but I don't give a shit. Don't listen to people like Jimmy Dore and others who tell you, oh, she's got a D next to her name, canceled, or oh, because the squad has let you down. Let's project that onto Nina Turner. She's going to let you down because they let you down. And let's forget her whole record. And let's forget her history of fighting. And let's forget that everybody loved her as of 6 months ago. But not now, because it's in vogue to cancel everybody because they don't do whatever you want 100% of the time. I'm not going to support her. That matters. That matters. You do what you want. I don't really tell people how to vote. I tell people what I believe. If you're in this district, vote however you want. But don't listen to people, but especially people that are telling you, oh, the definition of insanity is repeating yourself over and over again. But then they're pushing you to support a non-existent political party that has no candidates after 5 years. It's a joke. Okay.
Okay. I think that's the first kind of section. That's the first kind of section we'll talk about. So there's a lot in there. So let me rewind it, and Rome, we'll go just simply point by point. You stop it if you hear something that I already know where I'm going to stop it. It's like literally maybe the third or fourth second right into this, right after he says, I might be in trouble for this or something. But let's go.
We cover these races. Frankly, this might get me into trouble, but I don't give a shit. Don't listen to people like Jimmy Dore and others who
hold on.
Tell you, oh, she's got a D next to her.
I know that's a shot at us. I can feel that in my heart. You know when a nigga sneak this in you? Yeah. You feel that, right? Now, he probably didn't want to say revolutionary blackout, probably couldn't come straight off the top of the head, but who is the other circle of people with a platform telling you guys not to vote?
I'm trying to think. So we have Jimmy. If people in the comments, is there anybody else? I don't think the Vanguard's doing that. They're more just analyzing. They're not really telling people. Is Crystal Ball and Breaking Points telling people to do that?
No. They told everybody to support Nina Turner.
I'm just trying to
unapologetic is doing it, but he's on our side. So who else is he talking about? Right, Ron Pacone, he's over here with us. And this is what pisses me off about men that can't be up front with what they mean. You know what I'm saying? Caleb, we all over here on the fucking left. We over here trying to get people to move further left. And for him to say, don't listen to people, that's a hell of a thing to do as a journalist. As a journalist, you want everybody's voice heard, right?
Right.
Whether you disagree with them or not. We don't move like that. Like even after this, I wouldn't tell you guys not to tune in to Jordan because he do good work. But to tell people don't listen because it's the opposition, that's shit liberty. That's you're playing the duopoly game, right? You might as well just say that we were red, brown,
right. Right. I just feel like there needs to be more substance behind that. But Jordan does great work, but there is one huge blind spot I think he has, and Nina Turner's one of them.
Yeah.
Nina Turner's one huge blind spot that he has. This is not the first time. I'm not the first person to say this. People have said this before. They said this when she was making the dark money claim.
Yeah.
Nina Turner is his blind spot, because this is what I have to say. I have some things written down. So let me make this first point, this kind of overall point. So Democrats don't deliver on $15 minimum wage, voting rights. Now, I didn't want voting rights. For the people that support them wanted the voting rights bill, $2,000 stimulus checks, student loan forgiveness. He's escalating and instigating World War III, wants to give more money to the police state that's literally murdering people every day. And Jordan doesn't think the Democrats should be canceled. Like, I'm just saying. And the thing is, I didn't even list a big chunk of shit.
No, nobody said cancel anyone. Nobody said cancel anyone. He's putting words in people's mouths, but this is what people do. Cancel culture, blah, blah, blah. No, we're not canceling any politicians. We are holding them accountable by not giving them our power anymore, right?
Right.
So,
well, I think he's trying to say cancel because we are saying cancel the Democrats, and he's trying to say just because she's going to be labeled a Democrat. But this is the thing, Jordan. Answer me this. So you're telling me, Jordan, it doesn't matter what party. So Jordan, would you support her if she runs as a Republican with the same ideas? So she's running as a Republican in the same district. Are you going to support Nina Turner if she runs as a Republican? Because you're saying parties don't matter if you support Nina regardless. Because that's the whole point. Is we're saying who you run with matters. The team you choose to join matters. That's what we're saying. And if you're going to go with the Democrats, we can't fuck with that shit. We simply cannot. Do you have another point? I'm going to play a little more. Do you have another point here before I play a little more of it? Yeah. So let's. This first point, I do have another thing to say about this first point when he makes it. Hang on a second.
Black voters. She got crushed.
Sorry. I went back too much. So let's go there.
Project that onto Nina Turner. She's going to let.
Man, I can't. This point.
I don't know. I mean, I'm not predicting it. Status Quo will be there in Cleveland. We'll be on the ground because we cover these races. Frankly, this might get me into trouble, but I don't give a shit. Don't listen to people like Jimmy Dore and others who tell you, she's got a D next to her name, canceled, or because she's the squad has let you down. Let's project that onto Nina Turner.
So
did she not run to be in the squad though? Did she not run?
That's what I'm trying to figure out. That is exactly the question I have.
She said, and not only this, the Progressive Caucus is the ones who turned their backs on Nina Turner, right? So why are we? What are we going to do with Nina Turner as like I always compare? We sending some of our best swimmers into swamps with man-eating alligators, right? So we send our best swimmer out there. She's alone. She don't have the Progressive Caucus, the Democratic Party backing her. She don't have any corporate money backing her, no dark money backing her. What is she going to do? She has no pull. And they already told you guys when the squad made it in, yes, we have to sell out a little bit in order to get things passed through. That's called bipartisanship, right? So what is she going to do as a loner inside of a government full of man-eating alligators and monsters? Like, I just don't get it.
I don't get it either. But the point that he makes, that just because she's joining the Democrats, that goes back to that was the point I preemptively made the point about the Republicans. He said just because they're joining the Democrats, you have to cancel it. So we're not canceling Nina. If Nina ran for the Green Party right now, do you know she would get a whole bunch of support? If she ran for almost any other party except for the Democratic Party and Republican Party, she would get a lot of left support. She would get a lot of left support.
That's
so Jordan. So I'm just saying, Jordan. I'm just saying, Jordan. We like white politics, and I'm gonna say this way. Yeah, white American politics keep ignoring that these two parties are not delivering on anything. Man. You keep wanting us to go back to a well when they're not delivering at all.
Give up, man.
They're not delivering. Like, why would people keep doing that? Nobody's gonna keep doing that.
And
before
that
I go back,
insanity.
Go ahead.
Like, yeah, let's let this rock, because I have a problem with him, basically trying to make up his own definition on words.
Right. Changing the definition of insanity. That's absolutely the definition of insanity. Keep doing the same thing. Like, that's absolutely the definition of insanity. But Rome, let me ramble off some of these comments, because we won't catch up if I don't get some of these on here. Like, we got like 300 or 400 already. So I'm gonna shout out some of these comments just in order. Jordan is very it's okay. I'll throw that up there. Big homie Rome in the house.
What's going on?
Okay. Some of these I'm not even gonna read, so I might toss up some hater shit up there, because Tremendous Tuesday, the sequel of Mega. Yeah, Tremendous Tuesday. I'm at work, no headphones. I'm getting fired. Man, get some. You just have to hear it on replay. Oh, you can't comment if you do that. Okay. Sooner or later, people are gonna realize arguing over, like that comment right there, arguing over these politics. That is true. So I'm going to get through maybe 10 more, and then we'll get back to the video here. Jordan has worked hard to report on Flint. Nobody else has over. Yeah. So we absolutely respect him for that. And he does still, like I said, to me, his blind spot are the squad and Nina Turner. Mm-hmm. That's his blind spot. And in particular, Nina Turner. All right. Okay, Rome sums up perfectly. All right, sorry guys, I'm getting cyber guys, gals, and humans. I'm going through this very, very quickly here, just to try to get through a bunch of comments. All right, so I'm gonna stop there. I'm gonna star these so I can try to go back. So when I put them up, they might be, a lot late, but I'm trying to go back to make sure we get all the comments in. But let's go back to the rest of this video and break down the rest of what he says.
She's going to let you down because they let you down. And let's forget.
Okay, so can who did she do that video with, Nina Turner? The one that she got in trouble with. Now, this is a video I just recently came up on that I had no idea she had this up. Like, this is the reason why she lost the election. See, at the time, I forget why, I don't know why this has happened, but she went on The Humanist Report. So I'll look up the video right now. The Humanist Report, she went on and said a bunch of things that wasn't good. And from what Nick told me, there was some backlash, like a lot of backlash about it. And like even people who were like still rolling with Nina, like to the end. And then when they heard that, they were like, wow, that's just too much. So that's what happened, in my opinion, last time, because especially if you keep pointing out it was only, 4,000 votes is what you point out that she lost by. If you keep pointing that out, like, what's
that's still a lot of people for that small ass city.
Right. Which I agree. So, but let's take the point where he says, Rome, about the squad. The squad is not delivering, so let's project that onto her. So there's two things. Let's take his point, because this is what Nick likes to do. Nick likes to take their point, even though he doesn't agree. Let's go with your point. So are we projecting it on her? So let's go with that. We're projecting it on her. Why wouldn't we do that? Why wouldn't we look to the elected representatives who have said the same things that Nina Turner is saying now? Why wouldn't we look to them as a way of judging whether to support her? Why wouldn't we look to people that she speaks the same sort of language, that there has been insinuations that she's going to be a part of this group? So the insinuations that she's going to be a part of this group, Rome, we're supposed to just ignore that and not project what they're doing onto her? Mm-hmm. That doesn't make any logical sense. What do you think?
What's she gonna do when she get power? She's gonna say, "Oh yeah, I believe in Medicare for all, but I can't pass nothing like that in my district." Right? I can't fight for this and that in my district. This is just something I support to get you guys money and your votes, because you're not going to be able to pass these type of laws without at least getting ranked choice voting done. And somebody said Jordan is right about, saying about the parties in the comments. No, he's wrong. He's wrong about the third parties also, because the time that you guys are wasting building up the Progressive Party, you could be wasting that time with the Green Party, or building your own types of party. There are many parties out there. You can vote for the CPUSA. If that was the case, candidates isn't the problem. A party that represents the people. That's what we need. You know what I'm saying? Represented by the people, right? So you can't just say, oh well, third parties aren't going to make it. It isn't fast enough. We got to do what we have to do. No, you will never get it if you don't fight for it, right?
Exactly.
If you don't work on it, if you don't put blood, sweat, and tears in it, then it will never be delivered, man. So when we building up parties, when we building up organizations from the ground up, and it's people led, you know what I'm saying, is represented by the people. Yes, it might have took longer because we don't have dark money. Yes, it might have took longer because we don't have ad money. But shit, it was worth it because we built this shit from the ground up, right? So why would you just, just say, oh, well, fuck it. I'm going to just go with the party that got the most exposure. That's just selling out in a way, right? That's selling out. No matter how you look at it, it's selling out because you could do better. I mean, you know what I'm saying? You could do better than what the Democratic Party is doing to us, And Nina Turner even said out her own mouth, if you guys are looking for, you know what I'm saying? If you guys think I'm about to go in there and just be like, rah, then you're going to be disappointed. Out of her own mouth. She said that she was going to disappoint us, that she was going to let us down. I think we should have a clip.
I'm looking for the video right now. I'm looking for the actual video. I
remember when Unapologetic had reported on this.
That's Unapologetic. Okay, then let's go to his. I'll find his tweet. Man,
yeah, because Unapologetic was actually reporting on this and actually reporting why she was going to lose. You know what I'm saying? He was on this shit before a lot of us. But this is it is what it is, man. Y'all, your thing didn't make it. You know what I'm saying? The hope and prayer is not gonna win, bro. Even if we do get Nina Turner again, like I said, what the fuck is Nina Turner gonna do? Like, what the fuck can she do with you know what I'm saying? The little
Rome, I found it on the majority. I was trying to find a different video because when I first saw it, I saw it on the majority report, so it was already in my highlighted, so I knew I could find it. So I'll just play it from his because I think they play the full version of it.
To push
so let's listen, but just listen to what they say about the video real quick.
People have of inside power is maybe sometimes wrong.
I did a stream on this video right here, so let's listen.
Oh,
these niggas try to sell you. These niggas, no, not on my computer. Nah, these niggas will keep playing. These niggas, they try to sell you shit at every angle, nigga. Damn.
The dynamics that are involved in what was called Force the Vote, and trying to explain that the perception that people have of inside power is maybe sometimes wrong.
It's okay to be disappointed, but the squad is ultimately the best that we have in terms of being able to push an agenda. And what that means is that you might not always agree with the methods. I need people to understand that when you are on the inside, it doesn't mean that you are selling out. I know they've gotten a lot of pressure, but they are the ones up there holding it down. They're pushing.
Rome, this is a question when I covered it, I think with Nick. What are they holding down? What are the squad holding down?
Not a damn thing.
She said they're
holding down progress and working class people.
But she's saying holding down like it's what good things are they holding down? What are they?
They haven't passed anything. What have the squad done
right
with their time? Like
the squad haven't even come out to support Nina Turner. They haven't even endorsed Nina Turner
or vote as a block for once. Not even three of them together has voted as a block. But
what you hear how like Sam Cedar said this. I did this video. That's why I know the full content. This is the claim of what I call now reformist leftists, people who think we can go through the Democratic Party, right? They really believe that we don't understand power. And when we don't want to go through the Democrat, that's what they, honest to God, believes, that we don't understand power. And I think it's to the contrary, that they don't understand power. You lose your power the minute you go to the Democratic Party if you're a leftist. You gain your power if you're elected as an outsider. Just imagine if she's elected as an independent like Bernie was elected.
Mm-hmm.
She can be like, fuck y'all, I can do this, whatever.
Yep.
Don't run as a Democrat.
Yep. So it just don't. I just don't get it. I don't get why is he going so hard for her unless he's getting some type of money to do this. But there is no reason for any of us to be praising or telling you guys to vote in this time in these days.
Right.
Like we have so much to be doing. We're trying to get you guys to start doing your mutual aid programs, trying to teach you guys revolution and shit like that. This is not an era to vote. This is time to rebel. This is a time for rebellion. Why would I sit here and want you guys to waste all these? I was just on Ryan Knight's show and I pointed out.
Yeah.
We gave out $100 million to Bernie Sanders. $100 million to Bernie Sanders, man. Now, think about what we could have done if we would have kept that money in between us. We could have built clinics and hospitals. We could have took over small towns and just passed healthcare through there. Everybody who wanted their political revolution, we could have moved to a small town and took over with $100 million. But we give it to a politician who does nothing with it and just bow down when they tell him to. If Bernie Sanders has to bow, what the fuck is Nina gonna do? Bernie been in office for 30, 40 fucking years now. Come on,
yeah, exactly.
What has he done? You know what I'm saying? That make us look at him like, okay, well, if he was to get a little squad behind him, he can pass anything he wants. No, he won't, because he didn't even push on Barack Obama. When he pushed on Barack Obama once or twice, after he lost the supermajority, but he didn't even push on the Democrats when they had the supermajority to pass a Medicare for all or universal health care system.
Rome, the truth is the Democrats are putting up a terrible example for anybody who's trying to run right now. And I said this during the Marianne Williamson. The squad and the Democrats are in power right now, and they are doing a terrible job. Terrible job. Every number, they are underwater in every number, from the economy to the war approach or strategy. everything, they're underwater. So if Nina Turner loses, it's because the Democrats are terrible and she's running to be a part of a terrible party. That's why. And why would people come out and vote? But let's listen to more of what she says here. And Jordan, this is why, or one of the reasons why people wouldn't support her. So they're not projecting anything on her because she says it right here.
Pushing as hard as they can, and just because things are not going exactly the way, just because they're not using the exact tactics that some in the activist community want them to use, that doesn't mean that you throw them away. Because guess what? If you're throwing away members of the squad who are our best opportunity to get what we need, and also some members of that progressive caucus, then you're not going to have anybody there. So if the prerequisite in summation,
I don't like this. Because she's saying, okay, these are the people who's going to give us, this is the best opportunity. Who's to say that? How do you know this?
She's talking about.
Because we don't even know, like, okay, even I know, me saying, okay, well, let's go do a revolution and blah, blah, blah. Even I know that this can fail. Who's to say that they go in and get this power and just not sell and just sell the fuck out? Like we are seeing back and forth, man. How many times did it take fucking Barack Obama to whatever? They get around these rich people and they don't know us anymore. Oh, damn. Yeah, Jimmy God. And hey, I feel like, as far as me, a lot of you motherfuckers right wingers. A lot of you motherfuckers still be iffy on that motherfucking on that revolution talk. You know, y'all want to toe the line. Y'all don't want to go there. So as far as I feel, a lot of you motherfuckers are. It's not just Jimmy. It's a lot of people that do this shit too. So fuck it. Jimmy is on my right. So shit. I look at everybody.
Yeah, well, but I'm to your right. Exactly. Everybody's to Rome's right because Nick has admitted it probably couple of times on stream. Like Rome is probably the most left of all of the members in the group. He's probably to the left of all of us. But just a quick shout out, we're being suppressed. I see that we have a good amount of people watching, so I just want to make sure everybody is hitting the like button to ensure people see this content. It is very important. Also, make sure you subscribe to this channel if you're here. We do a lot of content like this. Nick has been calling us a Marxist-Leninist group. I don't know if you go by that label, but that's what he's been calling us. I've been leaning towards that, and the only reason I don't come out and say it because I don't like to claim anything until I feel secure in the knowledge, and I don't feel secure in the knowledge because I'm still learning it. So I'm still learning Marxism. I'm still reading about it. So that's the reason why I don't really claim that. But what I'm saying is, that's where we lean. That's what people say when they hear us talk. That's kind of like what they say who we are. That's how other people would describe this channel.
I respect the shit out of Lenin, Marxist, all my communist leaders, I'm saying, all my black leaders before me. But there's a thing, and there's a time and a place to basically worship our heroes. But in these times, no, I believe we need new leaders. We need another Marxist. We need another Martin Luther King, another Malcolm X times 2, times 5. And this is why I don't call myself, saying a Marxist really, even though I do go with his education and they predicted a lot of shit, him and Lenin.
Right.
But
that's what I'm saying. It's not like
I think it's a slap in the face to them. I think it's shown that we haven't learned anything too much. Like we haven't grown out of them. You know what I'm saying? Out of their bosom, from under the bosom, I should say. You know what I'm saying? I just call myself a communist overall. But I think it's time for new leaders.
All right. Let's continue with the video.
For relationship means that I have to do, or the squad has to do everything you say, the way you say do it, then there's not much of a relationship at all. And that you're gonna be disappointed. Hell, they're gonna be disappointed with me.
And where we at right now, motherfucker? Well, I guess she is right about something. Because a lot of people was disappointed. We was disappointed to see, even after they done fucked over Bernie twice. You know what I'm saying? We seen, what was her name? They used to work for Bernie Sanders in 2016. She
Brianna?
no.
Oh, in 2016.
She got the haircut. Dang, what's her name? Simone
Sanders worked for Bernie's
Simone
at that time.
Sanders. Yeah. We seen her dip on Bernie. She knew what the game was. She was like, look, I'm gonna do it either way. We working for the Democratic Party either way. I might as well just get my money straight up. You know what I'm saying?
I'm gonna get a direct payment instead of going around about through this independent candidate. Let me just get a direct payment. But let me play.
They're telling people that illusion of choice. This illusion of choice.
That is it. That is it.
What like CJ always tell you guys, you know, what are these people really gonna be? What are their roles gonna be in these parties? You know what I'm saying? You get into a party, you a candidate that don't take dirty money, so you obviously can't be on a yacht with them. You're not gonna be able to go to the Met galleries, and you know what I'm saying? And yada yada yada. So all these people that's controlling your party take dark money. You don't take dark money. So what does it matter? Like, you might as well just take dark money, because the people that's
because the people above you take you right. Your bosses evil. That's gonna be giving you instructions. They're the ones that's the same thing I always play. I'm gonna find a video to play that, because I had debated a progressive Democrat on that very point, and I made some points, that very point that you're bringing up. But let's listen to her again, Jordan, because I need Jordan to hear this part about when he says projecting the failures of the squad onto her. Listen to what she says.
There's not much of a relationship at all, and that you're gonna be disappointed. Hell, they're gonna be disappointed with me. I said that to Tim Black when we interviewed. I'm saying it to you, Mike. I want them to know you're gonna be disappointed at some
Mike just shaking his head.
But that does not mean that you give up totally on the people who are the best fighting chance that you have. And then there's something called strategy.
What strategy?
Can they finally tell us? Just tell us what the strategy is. Then, see, the thing is, this is a problem with this whole strategy point. You need to tell us what the strategy is, so we know where the goalposts are and knowing if you're achieving it. You get what I'm saying? You're not telling us anything. Yeah.
We give our money, our time. I'm risking my life going out here knocking on doors for this black woman. You know, telling these people in this conservative ass town to vote for this black woman with progressive ideas. I'm risking my life for you, and you can't even put me in on what the play is. All you guys do is run on, oh, I support and I believe in Medicare for all. Or I support and I support a Green New Deal. Okay, and I support a lot of things that I can't, you know what I'm saying, that I can't get my hands on. I would never be able to do myself. Even if I did have some power, like, you know what I'm saying, getting into the Senate. Man, come on, man. All right, let's break this shit down, bro. How many squad members do we have right now? 4 or 5, supposedly? Let's say 6 of them, just for the fucking. Okay, we got 6 of them. How many people are in the fucking Senate? And then we got the House. So you mean to tell me by the time, okay, we vote every 2 to 4 years, boom, boom. Shit, nigga, I'll be dead before we even get half of the House. So by the time this strategy works, so getting progressives in by every 2 to 4 years, nigga, the world's gonna be destroyed by then.
Yeah. Okay.
We are the best fighting chance. We are. Stop. This is what she are telling you guys to depend on politicians. Put your power and your trust and your money in us, and we will deliver, which they haven't. She has nothing to back up that claim. Just like they have nothing to back up the claim that they actually support Medicare for all. Look how many people was actually co-sponsoring Medicare for all. Now look how many people that actually fight for Medicare for all. Look how many people that actually look at California. What the fuck? That's the perfect example.
But we're not supposed to look at previous examples. According to Jordan, we're not supposed to look at that.
We just gotta hear the don't believe your lying ass eyes. Don't believe your lying ass eyes, bro. Yeah,
like
she
we
just
need
saw
to
me
know
walk in
specifically
with my hand in the cookie
what
jar.
you're gonna do. Like we need to know specifically what you're gonna do. We're not falling for this. Put you in office and you do what you want. That's not politics, Nina. And with all due respect, and the thing is, I like Nina Turner. I wish she would run under a different party.
Yeah,
but she's not. So I can't lend my support to Nina because of that.
and Nina
but
won't even fucking. She don't even have the cojones to even muster up defund the police.
yeah, because her
Her husband,
husband's
her
a cop.
son.
Yeah. Then of course her son too. You said her son too?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Then of course she's not gonna be for no Of course she's not gonna be for no defund the police. But so that's another thing. That's a good point you bring up. That's one point that we don't agree on. But that doesn't necessarily mean I would necessarily throw Nina Turner away. But that is a big point that I disagree. That's a big point that I would disagree.
You're gonna get in like
Nina
Eric
Turner.
Adams, like, oh well, we got to put more money into more money into the fucking police. You literally are sleeping with the enemy, literally.
Right. And let me say this about this point too about projecting onto the squad, because this is something I wrote down. Have we just started being let down by Democrats when the squad was elected? Or have we been going on or has this been going on for literal decades? To pretend that people are fed up with the Democratic Party just because of the squad is not being honest about the conversation. Like the squad was our last hope. Like that's why they were interjected into this narrative as even being the squad to give us more hope. Okay, we got the squad in just as Democrats, and they don't do any of the things they said they're going to do. They don't do any of the things, and they don't do any of the things they said they're going to do. And then Nina Turner explicitly comes out and says, you're going to be disappointed in me, but I want you to vote for me. And these people aren't selling out by not being down with forced to vote. It's absurd to me. I'm going to bring up the Jordan video again.
She didn't want to say that when she didn't even want to say that. She didn't even want to say force to vote. Well, the way some activists would want us to do it. Isn't that how we supposed to do it anyway?
That's how politics. This is what we have lost the understanding of how politics politics and activism go hand in hand. That's how it's supposed to be. You're supposed to say, I want this. And then you go be activists in order to convince people to join what you want to do. That is how politics is supposed to be. So when people, when people like Nina Turner say this, there is no activists. There is politicians who get things done, and those politicians are activists, like Bernie Sanders used to be.
But now you see he giving money to Israel. And whoever the fuck else want to bomb, like, come on, man. This is our best. This is the best we got. People that cry when people's lives are on the line, and the shit was gonna pass with or without your vote. People that cry and vote present,
virtue signaling,
and don't stand up when we need them. When we need them to. This is our best. This is the best. No,
right.
I'm not a fool.
I'm just trying to say, Rome, like. Name one thing. Name one. You know what? I'm jumping the gun. Let me play the rest of this video, and then I'll get to the point when he gets to it, because I'm jumping the gun.
3 that she lost by less than 2 points.
So let me. Oops, shit. I keep going back too far. Right here.
The people like Jimmy Dore and others who tell you, oh, she's got a D next to her name, canceled, or because she's the squad has let you down. Let's project that onto Nina Turner. She's going to let you down because they let you down. And let's forget her whole record. And let's forget her history of fighting. And let's forget that everybody loved her as of 6 months.
So this is the next point. We talked about the other point. So let's forget her record. Let's forget her commitment to fighting. Or he didn't use the word commitment, but I'm using it. Let's not forget that. Like, nobody's forgetting that. No one's forgetting that, but I pose the same question to you. if this person who you're calling a fighter and this great record ran as a Republican, Jordan, would you go out and support her the same? And if you say yes, then kudos to you. You're one of the few who will keep it politically and intellectually consistent. But if you're saying no, because it's the Republican Party, then you're saying parties do matter. It matters what party candidates run under.
And why is people so anti-third party? What's going on?
Because they still understand politics and win-lose. They don't understand strategy. They don't understand how third parties can affect greatly elections simply by putting pressure by bringing people to their party, simply by doing that, and then they can make demands. That is the quickest way to gain power from the left.
I really think people are truly afraid to hold the power that we really got. You know what I'm saying? I do too. I think they are man, it's crazy how people are so smart and so much into politics and know how much we need, you know what I'm saying, a third party in America. And I'm not even a voter, but even I do agree there has to be a true opposition to the Democratic Party and the Republican Party, because we can see that they are actually the same bird. They have to fly together, left wing, right wing, they have to fly together. So we need a opposition party, you know. And if you want someone like, you know what I'm saying, someone who to spit your say your rhetoric and make you feel good about the things that they say, they come to your community, you know what I'm saying, they come to your church, then you should want a third party. You know what I'm saying? We can really push on that, not only on the ground, but through our platforms that we have. He has a way larger platform than us. You know, he can really do a lot of good if he had his mind in the right place, man. Like I said, he's a good reporter, man. He's one of the best I have ever seen. I can't take that away from him, but his political instincts sucks.
Because they very closely align with liberalism and the old left, or what I'm going to coin the phrase reformist leftists. I don't know if anybody else has used that before, but reformist leftists, and we're more revolutionary leftists. And this comes from the conversation that Nick and I had with Carlos, because I asked him, I said, to me, strategy has to be included in the definition of a leftist. You can't just go, I'm a leftist because I think of, Medicare for all, I want to end wars, that makes me a leftist. No. What is your strategy to get that? Right. Also is included in what makes you a leftist, because then you're saying the strategies of the Black Panthers didn't matter. Like they could have got what they did just voting. Like that's what you're saying.
Oh my God. If that make you a leftist, then what does that make the 50-something Republicans that want the same fucking thing?
Right, exactly. Like it has to be actionable things. And this is through that conversation, Carlos was like, well, I basically call those people reformists. And I don't think you can't be a reformist, in my opinion, and also be a leftist. Like they're opposites. You can't be the same. So I got this from him, and I said, well, I want to respect them. They call themselves leftists, so I want to give them that respect, even though that's not what I would call them. But let's add the name reformist, so we understand these are people who want to reform. These are people who, back in the day, would have said, let's reform slavery. Let's not revolutionize by getting rid of slavery. It's the same sort of concept. There's two camps, and to me, strategy matters. But anyway, we're getting off on a tangent. Let's go back to what he's saying here, Jordan.
6 months ago, but now because it's in vogue to cancel everybody because they don't do whatever you want. 100.
So he's simply trying to boil this down to be petty. Like simply is in vogue. It's in per se. If we go off that, what you're saying, to be canceling politicians, is because people are fed up. So if it's in to do that, that is the reason. Not because it's some sort of like fashionable to cancel people. It's because people, the politicians, aren't delivering. What's your take, Ron?
Oh my God, man. Why is it that we get held accountable. You know what I'm saying? The voters, the people. Why do they have all this energy for us? When we are in the pandemic, recession, depression,
Exactly.
and our politicians that we voted for and canvassed for isn't doing a damn thing to even combat it. Didn't say anything about the sanctions that was just put on the American people. Why is it that we get all the pushback and not these? Like, come on, bro.
Because
Man, he
that's a
started
good
pissing me off.
question. That's a good question, because it's like it's never the people in power that can be pushed. It's always that we have to adjust something. We have to be politer. We have to vote harder. We have to come out and do this. We have to do that. It's never them making a change. And let's continue with Jordan right here.
Oh, because she's the squad has let you down. Let's project that onto Nina Turner. She's going to let you down because they let you down. And let's forget her whole record. And let's forget her history of fighting. And let's forget that everybody loved her as of 6 months ago. But not now, because it's in vogue to cancel everybody because they don't do whatever you want 100% of the time. I'm not going to support her. That matters. That matters. You do what you want. I don't really tell people how to vote. I tell people what I believe. If you're in this district, vote however you want. But don't listen to people, but especially people that are telling you, oh, the definition of insanity is repeating yourself over and over again.
Hold on, pause.
But then they're pushing you
to. She Joe Biden our ass, right? Because you know what I'm saying? She told us that we're gonna be disappointed. You might as well sit it out if you don't like the way that they're gonna do it, right? Basically, she gave us the Joe Biden thing: vote for somebody or vote for Trump. Basically, so her saying that's what pissed people off, Jordan. Not because it's cool to cancel anyone. You know what I'm saying? We know that we're gonna, from the revolutionaries on the ground to the revolutionaries that are voters, we know that we're gonna need political minded people if we ever do have a revolution. Either way, right? We're gonna need people that align with us. That's not the problem. The problem is she already told us to vote for someone else if we don't like the strategy that she's going to be using. She's not going to be going after forced to vote. She's not going to be promoting forced to vote. And she, like I said, she hasn't said anything about defunding the police, which she never will. She don't do it like how activists do it once you are in the inside. That's why people get mad.
I'm gonna play. Continue playing this here.
You to support a non-existent political party.
So I'll address a couple of things.
Support her. That matters. That matters. You do what you want. I don't really tell people how to vote. Black voters. She got crushed in the white suburb.
So I'm gonna rewind it because he talks more about what happened to her, but that not right now. But I don't understand why I can't get this right. There we go. I think that's it.
Support her. That matters. That matters.
You trying to go right before that. Okay, there we go.
Forget her history of fighting. And let's forget that everybody loved her as of 6 months ago. But not now, because it's in vogue to cancel everybody because they don't do whatever you want 100% of the time. I'm not going to support her.
They don't do what you want. This is an argument, and I have some written down for that. They don't do what you want 100% of the time. If you notice in Nina Turner's video, she also said, just because they don't do what you want every single time. That phrase, let's break that phrase down.
That's not
so.
Oh God, man.
They're not doing what we want them to do none of the times. Like none of the times, Rome. So it's not. So they're trying to make it seem like okay, there's 10 things they're doing. They only did 3 of the things you want out of the 10. No, they're not doing any. So right. You're using this like just because they're not doing they're not doing a single thing. One single thing. Name it.
They could have revamped Bernie bill when he tried to take 10% from the Pentagon and cover everybody doing health with healthcare during the pandemic, which still is going on. I don't give a fuck about your mandates being lifted. These capitalists want to make their money. It's slowing up their money. And it's making people mad and inconveniencing all the fucking comfortable white people. So people can take off their fucking masks now. But no, ain't shit gonna like. I'm disappointed in this dude, man, because I got so much. Like I've been on status quo. You know, when I was out for Bernie and everything, like, man, he's a cool dude, man. But holy fuck, it's time that we use our platforms for better, man. We can do better. We can teach our audience better. We can teach them how to fight, how to come out. We can come out there with them. You know what I'm saying? What you do that. You know what I'm saying? You a great reporter, but it's time to push it. It's time to push it and push our foot on this gas pedal, because we have tried this for so long, man. Like I remember what my little cousin used to watch Kyle Kalinske and all these lefties and put me on to him, and it's been years, man. TYT been here since Bush. It's been years, man. We've been doing this inside too much. Maybe it's too much to ask. Maybe it is too much to ask. But
let's address what Sabby. Shout out to Sabby. Nick was in the comments too. Jordan is making this about one person instead of the entire party, and that's the point. That's the point that we're all kind of saying, is that it's not Nina Turner. Nina Turner could get support from all of us if she ran as a Green, if she ran as a socialist, if she ran as an independent in her state. I don't know if that's allowed in her state, but if she ran as
let's say we're buffering.
Oh, we are? Let's see here. That could be just them that's buffering, because I'm directly connected. I don't think that's me.
Yeah, let me check my phone.
Yeah, I'm not on Wi-Fi. I'm directly I'm directly connected. But anyway, oh yeah, I do see where they're saying they're buffering. It says better now. You're good for me now.
Okay. Thank y'all.
Okay. No buffering here. Okay, so let's continue. Maybe that's why we like 30 people dropped at the same time.
Like,
maybe there was some kind of connection that never happened.
I was like, damn, what I say?
Yeah, one time. There must be some kind of connection problem that's been going on. So let me just look at my stuff to make sure nothing is
Miss Rome. All I was saying is we have the power to do what we need. You know what I'm saying? We should be moving as one. We shouldn't be breaking up and sending our best fighters here and there, especially if it's in a corporation controlled by dark money. We have to fight from the outside, and always we have to fight with propaganda. This is what RBN is for. We have to make sure that people eat. Tour for the Poor, Mutual Aid Forever. We have all types of things going on. I believe that we can use our platforms for better. We can do what it needs. What it takes, but we're not gonna. We might not see the outcome. Okay, they saying it's different again. We might not see the outcome, but fuck it, man. You know, we're gonna keep fighting and make sure that the next generation can at least have a fucking leg up on this shit. We can't keep sending our people out. You know what I'm saying? We can't keep giving up. Okay, we might get the fame, we might get, you know what I'm saying, the TV time, but you get nothing. The people get nothing at the end of the day. Only thing that get better is your life. Only thing that get better is their lives. Like, they know that they can't really fight against these corporations, man, that really control and write these laws. Man, come on. Let's be real about this. So we got to build our own party, and we got to have parties to armies, to navies, to any. We got to have front lines, back lines, people on the computer. We need it all, because we are facing a hell of a government that's against all of us right now. People that's in charge of this government believe in depopulation type shit. We have to do better. And I don't believe, you know what I'm saying, a politician is our best chance of getting that type of shit. I believe that we have what it takes, because we already know what we need. We already know what we want. And even if we're not, you know what I'm saying, to the left or to the right of each other, whatever the fuck you want to call yourself. We all are human. If we all get our basic needs, no matter what you believe in, we all get our basic needs. I'm pretty sure that we would see that, holy fuck, oh yeah, we could have a better life and still have a good what these fucking people always complain about, the economy. You know, we have a great economy, you know. But man. Maybe it's
so I have a video. So I have a video. We're gonna go back to the Jordan Sheridan video in just a second. I have another video where so I'm debating Hector here. This is one of the clips. So it goes to the topic about supporting progressive Democrats. She's a progressive Democrat. So let's listen.
But what I think we all are going to agree with is that what I want and what I think you want is to see leftists in power, move policy in a legitimately leftist direction, right? Is that correct? Is that what, I mean, that would make me happy, right? So
absolutely.
So talking about the inside-outside strategy, just to get these 3 points across, because there's some things we got to agree on as a base set.
So let me say this. I don't know if you've seen this, Rome. So these three things. So these things that he says we need to agree on before we can even have the conversation. He thinks I'm going to agree on them. He thinks I'm going to agree on them, and then it's like he finds out that I don't. But listen, because this is on the topic with Nina Turner, progressive Democrats, and what Jordan is saying.
Right. And, you know, and I'll pose them as questions to you, CJ. Does it matter what policies get enacted? Meaning, does it matter whether we have a for-profit healthcare system versus a Medicare for all single-payer system? Does it matter if we have a bloated military budget as opposed to a non-interventionist policy? Does policy ultimately matter? Do you think?
Yes.
Okay, great. Yes. And I agree with you. And I'll agree with that. Now, point number 2, do the people that get elected ultimately have an outcome on that policy? Do elected officials determine in a very significant way what sort of policy gets enacted? Yes or no? No, you don't think that you think that it doesn't matter who sits in the seat?
I do not.
Okay, so if you believe that, CJ,
part where we deserve, because where we diverge is because I believe corporations have the power, regardless of who's in there. And let me make this point.
Sure.
It's because let's take Pfizer, because that's a known entity. Pfizer donates to both Republicans and Democrats, right?
Indeed.
Corporate, it doesn't matter. So the question becomes,
I love your fucking house, boy.
Does Pfizer's corporate plan change whether a Democrat is in office or a Republican in office? And I think the answer is no.
It's not.
So their
policy
plan
that gets enacted might be
hang
different.
On, their plan of corporations or corporatism of making profits is the same whether a Democrat is in office or a Republican. That's the entire reason why they donate to both. And this is the reason my answer to your question is no. Oh, I thought this was a different video because I go into the explanation, but I could just tell you here is because my answer to that question is no. And this goes to Nina Turner and why we can't support it. And this goes to Jordan's comment about, it's about the Democrat, and goes also to Sabby. This is about the Democrats. It doesn't matter. And the point I further explained in this video is that whoever's there, they're just a puppet. On their hands is connected to somebody else controlling them. Because the point he's trying to make is this person has their own free will to do something. And I'm saying no. They're controlled by the corporations. So no, that's why my answer is no. And this is where the old left or reformist leftists and the new left, revolutionary leftists, diverge. We don't believe that. Go ahead.
Oh my God. Can we just be so real about something, dude? Our lives are on the line here. You know what I'm saying? Our lives as activists. Think about being a politician going into these spaces with these people. You think they won't get rid of you? They killed presidents. And we have proof. And they are so open with it. They don't give a fuck. Who the fuck you think you are? You trying to come in here and run our... It's not going to happen like that. So what the hell? I'm just like, We have seen not even just the government. Corporations kill activists all the time. Make them disappear, just poof, right? People that want to unionize, they end up getting a car crash into. We've seen it. We've seen it. And what the fuck? What the fuck is if I was to get voted in, and I go and I see, like, I go in with all this information knowing that the government will kill me if I get too routed. What the fuck am I gonna do? Am I gonna get routed? You know what I'm saying? These people are not gonna risk their lives for us. They're not gonna hold their votes in times of war, in times to put lead in your water, in times to, like, when corporations want what they want, they're gonna get it, or they're gonna take you off. Like, who the fuck you think you are? Like, let's be real. Your life is on the line here, and this is life or death. Like, I just don't like I don't like when people like this. Oh, I got hair in my mouth. Act like this shit is just like act like this shit is just like, oh yeah, once they get in and they can do this, and you put another one in like that, and they can do that. Like, okay, well, bro, look. This is why we need activists to unionize. We need activists to unionize every fucking corporation first, right? Then we need to work on nationalizing these corporations, right? So once we go in for votes, corporations won't have so much control. It will be more people-led and more state-led, whatever the fuck your states need throughout that corporation, because it's nationalized through your state. You can't just go in here with these evil, greedy people at the tops and think you're gonna rob their fucking banks if you don't do it in some type of real type of strategy, which Nina Turner have left out, that they won't do it like activists agree. But you're not gonna, like, fuck these people, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Couple of, well, one shout out to Josana. Josana is in the comments, and she says Black people and people of color are tokenized by the establishment. Absolutely, Josana. So I think we've had JB is doing a show, so that's the reason why, because we've had every other RBN member has been here, me and you here, 3 of them in the comments, and then JB is on his network doing his show. So but let's finish up with this part of this stream. We got the Red Berets coming on in about 30-40 minutes. They're coming on at 12 just to talk about some stuff. I know they probably was thinking like, wow, we didn't know we were gonna get scheduled when this type of news fucking dropped. You know what I'm saying? Like, when this type of news dropped.
Can you go to the tweet? I really want to get to that tweet real quick, man.
Which tweet?
With JB, him and JB.
Oh yeah, we haven't even talked about that yet. Yeah. So let me go to that tweet.
I'm gonna listen in. I need to take a cigarette break. You know, I'm a chain smoker. I'm gonna be back in 2 minutes.
Yeah. And then when you get back, I'll and and I'm gonna mute you, Rome, just in case. All right, so for those that watch me, you know I like to break shit down point by point, second by second. So let me listen to this again.
Project that onto Nina Turner. She's going to let you down because they let you down. And let's forget her whole record. And let's forget her history of fighting. And let's forget that everybody loved her as of 6 months ago. But not now, because it's in vogue to cancel everybody because they don't do whatever you want 100% of the time. I'm not going to support her.
Well, they don't do what you want 100%. Okay, I found the point that I wanted to make about that. So I'll make that now. So where are we at? It's in style. Let me put it up. It's in style to cancel people when they don't do whatever you want 100% of the time. It's such a disingenuous take, because by saying they do everything you want, it implies, or they don't do everything you want, it implies that they're doing anything. I think I made this point. So, Jordan, we're not supposed to cancel people who are elected when they are not doing a single thing we want. I would say that's the definition of canceling a politician, and the only way to cancel a politician is not to support them. That's the only way. Let's listen to some more and we'll wrap this up.
That matters. That matters. You do what you want. I don't really tell people how to vote. I tell people what I believe. If you're in this district, vote however you want. But don't listen to people, but especially people that like are telling you, oh, the definition of insanity is repeating yourself over and over again. But then they're pushing you to support a non-existent political party that has no candidates.
So this is the part where he's specifically talking about Jimmy Dore. Push, because I believe he's speaking here, a non-existent candidate political party. I believe he's speaking about the MPP. So I don't have anything to say about that because we don't support MPP too. Not under Nick Brana's leadership. Nick Brana is terrible, and his leadership of the People's Party is terrible.
After 5 years, it's a joke. Okay. I am for outside electoral politics strategies. Status Quo has been covering the union movement pretty much more than most for the last year. We were on the ground covering the John Deere strikes. We were on the ground covering the Buffalo workers, the Starbucks Buffalo workers union effort before they won that first historic vote. We were on the ground covering hospital workers on strike, and we've been on the ground for a year covering the Amazon workers when it did not look like they were going to win. So you could do both. If you don't want to vote, do you? But what I'm saying is, don't listen to people that are basically trying to make you be nihilists and
make you be nihilists instead of you reacting to what has happened. I'm still not quite understanding the point of when people say this is nihilistic. I don't get that part. Because when I look up the word, I don't get the connection that they're making that is nihilistic. Giving up on a party, for example, is not like giving up on life. Like you're giving up on a duopoly is not your life. So you're not, I'm refusing support the Democrats and Republicans because I've given up on life. That's not, so I don't get the nihilistic take when they use that. It's just bizarre. It's a bizarre use of the word to call that nihilistic.
And cancel everybody and everyone. Because you want to know what? If your bar is only supporting candidates that you'll never disagree with and will do whatever you want.
No, I think Jordan, I think you're intentionally not addressing that this is really the Democrats. Because I see revolutionary leftists criticizing Nina Turner on certain things. Defund the police is one. But I don't see the majority of leftists doing that. So it's not Nina. So to pretend, even with Jim, I'm not gonna even say that because I'm not gonna speak for somebody else. But so it's not Nina specifically. Like I said, if Nina ran for another party, we would support her. So it's not Nina.
100% of the time, then you
It's
should
not
run.
gonna happen.
Then
Yeah.
you should.
No. This last point is terrible. This is pretty terrible.
The union movement pretty much more than most for the last year. We were on the ground covering the John Deere strikes. We were on the ground covering the Buffalo workers, the Starbucks Buffalo workers union effort before they won that first historic vote. We were on the ground covering hospital workers on strike, and we've been on the ground for a year covering the Amazon workers when it did not look like they were going to win. So you could do both. If you don't want to vote, do you? But what I'm saying is, don't listen to people that are basically trying to make you be nihilists and cancel everybody and everyone.
Nihilist.
If you
That's
are only supporting candidates that you'll never disagree with, and will
your bar is only supporting candidates that you will never disagree with. If that's your bar, this is such a disingenuous. It's just not an authentic point. because nobody's saying that, Jordan. They aren't doing anything. The squad. So we're not supporting Nina because she's going to the Democratic Party, not because she doesn't support defund the police. A lot of people would still vote for her if she ran for the Green Party, even though she doesn't support defund the police. So there's many things people know that she doesn't support, a lot of things that we support, and they were still backing her. So it's a little bit of pretending not to see the real reason at this point. I can't believe that he would, like the point you made earlier, Rome, that he's on the ground, so he has to know that this is not a genuine. So unless he's that naive, which I don't believe, this is just he's intentionally missing the point. Intentionally, in my opinion. What were you gonna say, Rome?
Oh no, I agree with you, and I don't know, man. Like I don't know what the thing is with this party, like why people can't give it up. It's like it's over, man. Like it's over. We don't have a leg up because they won't let us get a leg up, you know. But like I was saying earlier, like, we can't. Like I do agree with him. He was on the ground. We was on the ground with Amazon. You know, we was on the ground with Kellogg's, et cetera, et cetera. But that don't give us the right to tell you guys, you know what I'm saying, or other people that they are nihilists. Like I haven't seen not one person that, you know what I'm saying, that doesn't agree with voting, not tell you guys not to give money to mutual aid. If they telling you not to vote and don't waste your time in the duopoly, you know, I'm pretty sure they got a nonprofit organization or some that they are supporting. Everybody is fighting the fight. Everybody is still fighting. Nobody's telling anybody to be nihilist to any of this. We're telling people to wake up and really, you know what I'm saying, just do the shit yourselves.
I'm trying to find. Okay, let me put this on the screen, and then maybe that you can help me. I'm trying to find the tweet. I'm on JB's page.
I can't even go on Twitter on this laptop.
No worries. I can put it on the screen. I just need you to. I think these are the comments. So Nina Turner is going to lose.
Yep.
Is this
go to the
this a reply?
Yeah, go to the quote.
Does Jordan reply to JB, or JB replies to Jordan?
They reply back to each other. It was.
I mean, but who's the first tweet is what I was trying to, because I don't.
JB is the first tweet. Go to the quote tweets.
Oh, okay. I get what you're saying. If JB said this and then Jordan quote tweeted him, that's how it started. That's where I'm trying to get to where it started. Okay, here it goes right here. Thread.
He got 400 likes for that bullshit.
Man, it's people that it's reformist leftists, and then there's revolutionary leftists. This is not new, and this is for people in the left movement. This sort of tug, this fighting over issues strategy. This is not new. So don't feel like, oh man, this happens. It happened with the Black Panthers. It happens with everybody. Mm-hmm. It happened with the civil rights movement, where you had people. I mean, you can see it with Malcolm X. Malcolm X was calling Martin Luther King too soft. Mm-hmm. You saw it. You saw it right there. They had friction because of that. So this is not new. So this is Jordan's tweet. He's quote tweeting JB. Let's read JB's first, actually. Nina Turner is going to lose. Not because I want her to, but because the reality is she's running in a party where they don't even want any true centrists to gain power. Mm. Then many of you will blame us on the left for her loss. You need to look inward instead. So that tweet wasn't really like attacking Nina. He specifically said it's not her. It's because it's the party. He specifically says that. Okay. This is Jordan, and Jordan doesn't really go after, he just responds. So this is Jordan. Nina Turner lost by a little over 4,000 votes in a special election in dead of summer with a low turnout. How many excuses this nigga is going to turn out? Massive Super PAC against her. For reference, Cori Bush lost.
Oh,
what
shit.
Is that? and then vote beat same. Okay. Yeah, I don't. Okay, so let's take his point by 20. Lost by a little over 4,000 votes. She lost 4,000 votes in her city. That's actually a lot of votes.
Yeah.
In California, that's nothing. That's not even a city.
Ohio,
Yes, that's not a block. You
Yeah.
get what I'm saying? So I get that, but where they are, that's a lot of votes.
Yeah.
So, in a special election in the dead of summer, it's a special election. So he's saying he's adding caveats on top of caveats. So it's 4,000 votes, not a lot of votes. That's the one caveat.
But
It's a special election.
Let's not forget that she had took Super PACs also in, and it was also dirty money in her podcast. A lot of people was mad about that also. They was telling me to call out Nina a long time ago.
I remember that. I remember you and I had a conversation about bringing her on, trying to bring her on. But anyway, in the dead of summer, in the dead of summer with low turnout. So it's a special election, dead of summer, low turnout, right? I'm going to take point by point. You know, low turnout, high turnout is when the people who come out with high turnout is when you're very enthusiastic. The people who are going to be very enthusiastic are you, Rome, are me, is Nick, is the people that listen to us, the people who they call the far right radicals. Those are the people who are going to be the most excited to come out for any candidate. Okay, it can be dead of summer, it can be special election, don't matter.
We had the March for Medicare for All in Detroit the same time that they had the march, their little thing, you know. And she said she couldn't travel, but you see, the thing is, if she would have just agreed with, you know what I'm saying, we could have set some up in her, you know what I'm saying, we could have set some up in her state, in her city, with the people that was already with her, you know what I'm saying, and we could have did something like that. But she said we couldn't do it. We couldn't make it because we know during election time, they got to pick up and put it down. They know when to run on it and when not to run on it. You see, they haven't said anything about healthcare, Medicare for All, a Green New Deal. They haven't mentioned any of that shit. As soon as they got in power, they was like, vote for Nancy Pelosi, get the police more money. Oh, Iron Dome. They haven't said anything about none of the shit that they ran on.
Just despicable, in my opinion. Just despicable.
It's only low turnout because people are pissed off, and rightfully so. And then, like, especially with the Bernie movement, people were heartbroken, let down, confused. Some people, you know what I'm saying, left their whole life behind trying to do a political revolution under the American government. A lot of people really believed in it. And I don't think you ever going to get them people back. You know, because we could have went out there. If all she had to do was probably, come on RBN, say, yeah, blah, 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 we can work out a deal, this and that, and we're going to hold each other accountable. And I would have went to go canvas for her. You know what I'm saying? Nick would have came up and canvas for her and talked to people for her, try to flip some people to get some more votes. But
she had to kind of shun away from that
corner
of the leftist movement. She had to come away in order to be embraced, or at least to be stomached by the establishment. You can't come in here with no far left thinking, and that's what she did. She began to not have the same fire in her tweets, not have the same fire in her interviews, using different language than she used to use. All of that stuff, when woke, the people who would be the most excited to go vote for her, woke us up like, what the fuck? We're hearing signs that something ain't right. That's what we're hearing. We're hearing signs that something ain't right. That's when the enthusiasm goes down, because enthusiasm can beat any type of money. Any money. Enthusiasm, Rome, can beat any money. Enthusiasm can beat. But you're not going to have the enthusiasm you need when you shy away from the language, when you shy away from the way you're speaking, when you're shying away from the critiques and how you're critiquing. And when you're saying, I'm going to disappoint you. Tell me this. If your girlfriend came up to you and said, hey, yeah, we're going to do this marriage thing, but let me tell you right now, I'm going to disappoint you in this marriage right here. How would you take that? Even if you can kind of think of it in holistically, yeah, I know things. But for a person up front to come out and be like, hey, What if your chef came, hey, at a restaurant, hey, I'm gonna cook your food, but I'm gonna disappoint you,
It
okay?
ain't gonna be the best. If you're looking for herbs and spices, bitch, I ain't the colonel. You better go to KFC.
But go ahead, Rome. Go ahead.
Yeah, this is monarchy. I'm blind. This is all baloney, and you should don't fall for the shit, bro. Don't fall for the emotional politic. You know what I'm saying? They're trying to pull at your emotional strings. Like, well, this is all we had. Like, look, man, if we can't do it like that, then let's do it another way. Like, let's do it another way, man. It's not gonna work. We're not gonna be able to tackle people from the inside because they get lost. You know what I'm saying? It's so big, so much money, you know, and it was a lot of flaw. Like Nina wasn't the best candidate, and she lost a lot of fucking people, you know, especially when she didn't endorse forced to vote at the time. She wasn't really riding the wave of the left, you know, and like you were saying, like she just lost the language and then didn't give a fuck anymore. Then when it was time to vote for her, she's like, okay, look, I know that I ain't say shit. I know I ain't did shit for y'all niggas, but look, I need y'all to vote for me and we're gonna get some shit passed. Niggas like, man, nah, I done heard this story before. And it look up like, man, maybe. And you look up AOC crying, voting president shit, like, oh no, this shit ain't.
Sure.
I mean, like,
sure. No, go ahead.
I'm like, but it's just funny to me, you know, how fast people will give up their power and how fast people will actually give up on the people. You know, to tell you that this is the best chance is a slap in the face to all of you.
Oh my God.
You know what I'm saying? Like, we all can do better. This is our best
chance. Exactly.
I feed more people in my community than any. I make sure I feed more people in my community than my representatives. You know what I'm saying? The people that, you know what I'm saying, that govern over us. I make sure that we do more, and you can do more. You might not be able to do it on a large scale, but they can't even do it on a large scale. And they tell you this all the time. This not in my district.
Oh yeah. That's what AOC said. Let me just shout out this here. Nina wanted to court Biden Hillary voters, only 7. Yeah. I think that's her pivot in her language. She can't speak the same way she speaks around revolutionary leftists that she speaks around reformist leftists or liberals. So she has to soften her speech. But that softening makes us wake up. It perks up our ears. But let's shout out our Substack right now because we got a lot of people watching today. And we should be able to add 200 people to our Substack. Go to our Substack, please. Oh, is this it? I thought I clicked on it, but maybe I didn't. This one. Oh, my bad. Let's take this off, and then it'll pop up here. I have it as a ticker instead of
and we're gonna need, like, y'all see that y'all can't leave any, you know what I'm saying, super chats and shit like that because we said the no. So, you know, if y'all can hit our Patreons, you know what I'm saying, or whatever. If you support independent media or it's just some niggas sitting here talking shit, you know what I'm saying, we're gonna need.
I have our Substack up now, Rome. I have our Substack up now. I'm gonna see how many subscribers we have.
Thank you.
We should be able to add 200 right now. So we have 200 subscribers, 199 subscribers. We should be able to get to 400 just off of this stream. So everybody, please support. Go here. This is how you're going to be notified. We're going to start writing articles too, opinion pieces. This is how you're going to be notified of our podcast that come out. Like this one today that we're on, like right now. You would have been notified about it, or you will be notified because we're going to be sending out the link to see. So please go and subscribe so that we can build our community. This is also the way we're going to organize. So when it's time to say, hey, there's this action coming up and we need to reach out to our community, you guys and gals and humans, we're going to reach out to you. This is the way. It collects your emails. It's the quickest way. It doesn't, we don't have to do any work. You just simply put your email and it collects it for us. So please do that for us. Please join. I'll check back and give you an update and see how many we've added during the stream. Also like this stream. We're at about 500 likes now. Let's see if we can get it to 600 so more people can see this.
Derek, where you at? If you come to Detroit, man, you know I'll just be out here, but I'll be back after Boston. I'll be back here on the 27th. If you want to, you can donate to Tour for the Poor. Fucking, what is that? It's Tour for the Poor on Cash App, Tour for the Poor on Venmo, and Unholy Rome 6 on PayPal. And if you want to just donate some stuff, DM me on Twitter, and I can give you a physical address that we can. You live in the area? Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm right on 7 Mile and Hoover, nigga. I'm right on Grassroots and Manning.
So let's listen to, or let me read the rest of what Jordan says here. This is clearly Jordan trying to change the direction of the conversation at Leftist in favor of Nina. This is clearly what he's trying to do. There's a set of people who are saying we're fed up, Nina's running as a Democrat and we can't support her, and he's trying to change that. People can vote however they want or support Turner or not, but the defeatist attitude of not supporting this is a key word. Defeatists and nihilists don't belong here. These are misused.
Don't belong.
Words. No, I'm saying
hold
the
on,
word
hold on,
defeatist.
1 second. I got the 7 mile nigga on my stream. I'm about to block him real quick. No, I'm playing. I'm playing with you.
Yeah. And Red Berets, if you're watching, I'm going to send you the link in just a second to join. Red Berets will be joining at 3 p.m. Eastern. So let's finish reading what he says. So, but the defeatist attitude of not supporting her because she is running as a Democrat, Green Party not on the ballot, that doesn't matter. You putting this in parentheses that they're not on the ballot. Then why didn't she make it on? Why didn't she get them on the ballot? She could do that. She can do that, so she can get them on the ballot. Okay, so no.
What is the defeatism of telling you guys the truth?
It is not.
Like,
it's not.
Oh my God, bro!
He is misusing this word, and I keep hearing this with reformist leftists, with people who I wouldn't call leftists but progressive people. Said the same. I keep hearing these same two things: nihilist and defeatist. And both of them don't belong in this conversation. They are both being grammatically misused. This defeatist attitude of not supporting her because that is not a defeatist attitude. So let me continue to read this, because this the squad has let you down, or Bernie has let you down, might be good for YouTube clicks. In reality, it's going to keep progressives forever in the minority. The minority of the Democratic Party don't give a fuck. They're not doing anything, Jordan. When it's Nina Turner, go ahead, Rome.
Like, dude,
what the fuck?
Why would the Democrats allow any change right now, bro? They are fighting, like we have just showed you before we even spoke a word. Chuck Motti breaking this whole thing down. And how they didn't deliver on anything, and how people was gonna blame us for it. And now we get blamed for being defeatist because, man, we put our life, man, he has dialysis. You know, when he was out there with me, he was fatigued. It's not a game. You know what I'm saying? That physical pain that he's going through when he's putting his life on the line out there, that ain't defeatist. And we all did work for the Democratic Party. You know, we all did our work for the Democratic Party. But nigga, we are telling you guys the truth because we have went in and seen it for ourselves. Like when you meet these politicians, they're gonna tell you straight up in certain conversations when you telling them, oh, you should go for this and that and blah blah blah. They're gonna tell you straight up, I ain't doing none of that shit. I can't do none of that shit. They're gonna say it in a nice way, but they're gonna tell you guys that shit ain't happening, and we're gonna do the best that we can because they can't do a damn thing. Your party is corrupt. Your party is it's a corporation, and like it is a corporation, People move up in corporations because somebody else moved them up. This isn't, your vote is an illusion of choice. Your vote is just to make you feel good of living under a corporate dictatorship, a corporate fascism.
That is such a great point. But let's come to an understanding what defeatist is. I'm not even, this is what my understanding before I look up the definition. Defeatist would be, I'm going to lose anyway. So a defeatist would be, I'm a Democrat, I support Joe Biden, but I feel like Joe Biden in the polls is going to lose. So I'm not even going to go out and vote. I am defeated. That is not what we're talking about. That is defeatist. I'm not going to go out and support my candidate because I feel like we're going to lose. That is not that is defeatist. Saying I'm not going to support a candidate because they're running for a capitalist imperialist party, that's not defeatist. That's making a decision based on your principles,
Yes.
not to support imperialists.
Thank you.
Any words, Rome? We're gonna slowly start to transition to. I'm gonna pull up comments for the last few minutes, unless you got some words here, Rome.
I just wanted to say, y'all, don't fall for this shit. Don't fall for this bullshit. They always gonna try to hit you with that emotion, with the emotions of politics. There is no emotion in it. Our lives are on the line. It's either you do it or you don't. And if they say that they don't believe in what we believe in, if you believe in your heart that it's not going to work, then don't do it. Don't do it. We have other ways of fighting. We have other strategies. You know what I'm saying? We have people who's fighting for Medicare or healthcare. We have people that's fighting for reparations. We have people that's fighting for all the things that these politicians promise. And I promise you that they would get things done faster than any of these politicians or whatever the hell they can promise you, because they know that they are not willing to go out and lose their life, because if they was, they would take the time out to lose their life for it. Like, to put their lives on the line for it, right? Go be a Malcolm X if you really feel so strongly about it. Go be a Martin Luther King if you feel so strongly about it. You got the finesse to gather up thousands of people across the world, across the United States. You have that finesse. Use it. That's a real outside strategy. Because how is it an outside strategy of putting somebody into the Democratic Party? How is that outside? Because they speak the same rhetoric.
Right.
That means nothing. That means nothing, man. And yes, it do feel good when we hear certain politicians say they want the same thing. Of course, they want them because they want to keep them. They got them already. They want to keep them. Yes, I believe in Medicare for all because they already got it. Yeah, they're going to support whatever keeps them in power, bro. No matter if they red, blue, or green. And that's how I feel. But until these parties are people-led, you know what I'm saying? Until we run this shit, our parties, our organizations, the nonprofits, all of it, the militias, we keep their money out of what we doing. We keep our enemies off of our negotiation table. And that's one thing Malcolm have told us, and we haven't learned that. Yeah, we just don't take that in. Keep the enemies from your negotiation table. But not only are you guys putting the enemies at your negotiation table, you guys are trying to join their table. And they kicking off crumbs, and you just eating it up. What the fuck is wrong with you guys? So if you want a real movement, you can make it yourself. Why are we sitting here canvassing for somebody else so we can canvass for you? We can canvass for come on, right? We can have our own party. It ain't got to be MMP. It ain't got to be the Green Party. It can be our party. We are the best. We are the best that we got. We are the best hope. Not these fucking politicians. Not fuck worshiping these leaders, bro. Because they are going to get you nowhere. Once
Nowhere.
their life is better, they're gonna live like kings and queens, and they're gonna forget about you, man, until it's time for you to give them a vote, or you know what I'm saying, give them some exposure. Look how Governor Whitmer is doing. Like, she like, oh yeah, we're gonna put infrastructure into the black communities and shit like that. And she'd go and do like a sidewalk or some shit. Like, come on, man. Get him out of here.
How has she been as a governor? That's one of some of the governors. She's one I know the least about, except for her connection to Blue Cross Blue Shield. How has she been as a governor? But
she the same. She the
same as everybody else, huh?
Give us this stuff, like, you know, a lot of black people fell for it. We gave her the buffs. They gave her buffs in Detroit. I told niggas, we are making a mistake. Do not give the governor buffs. And
what is that? What do you mean?
It's Cartier glasses. It's like a, you know, that's like a
they gave it to her like as a gift or something.
It's like, that's how you get baptized as a Detroit.
Oh, gotcha. It's like if you get that, that's you're authentic, and they gave that to her. Why did the community do that?
Because she's a Democrat. She was against Trump, and she was saying all the shit, basically like the squad did.
This can't be our threshold anymore. But I do see some of our red berets are in the backstage. Rome, you could be here if you want, or if you got to check. I know you might have to jet off, but red berets are coming on. We're going to be discussing a bunch of different things, just what's happening with them. But this topic, I don't think this stream has been disrespectful to Jordan, so I hope it's not taken that way. I think we went point by point.
Take it that way. Just take it as take it like your cousin punched you in the chest. You know what I'm saying?
I think we went point by point. We had the video evidence of Nina Turner saying with her own lips that she's going to disappoint, and that is what depressed people. The turnout then that has already snowballed. The video she like I said, the video she did on the Humanist Report did not help. I know I'm late to the party, but Nick told me that was a big deal at the time, and even the Humanist Report had to come out and didn't realize unknowingly, you know, got people to go against Nina just simply by doing an interview, and he thought he was just asking a softball question, and you know, he didn't know that she would say that. So I hope that addresses it. Maybe I'm sure Jimmy will address it if he hears this. I'm sure Jimmy will come back with his point. So we don't need to address it for Jimmy, because he does have slightly different points. He does, you know, he's down with MPP. We're not down with MPP right now.
You down with MPP?
Yeah. I was thinking the same thing when I said that. So I'm gonna bring some of the red berets in, and it's as they get here. I can always add all the rest of them here, but I see Scott, I see Laura, I see. Go ahead, Ron. What were you gonna say?
I just wanted to say hi to the red berets, but I gotta go. I gotta go build my banister. So, well, I gotta go hand carve the damn thing. So, I'm about to be in for a night. So, it's nice seeing you guys. Hope you have a great stream. Y'all stay here. Don't fucking leave. I'm watching. Don't fucking hit that button. I saw you, motherfucker.
Oh, you're talking about this?
Yeah, I saw you. Yeah, I saw.
I was like, we just got here.
Yeah. Stay. You might learn something, even if you don't agree with everybody all the time. Like, y'all sit here and listen to me.
Well, first of all, we're bringing a ton of different strategies to the panel, so I do hope people stick around to hear the multi-pronged approach.
I'm gonna be listening on YouTube like I always do. I'll be stalking my channel.
Yeah, and shout out a comment if you need to in the comments, Rome. All right, Rome.
All right.
All right, see you there. Welcome, Red Berets. Thank you, Rome. Like the person in the comments. Oh, I can take you out, Rome. I don't know if you can or not. I'll take you out. Welcome to the Red Berets. Welcome. I'll watch below, but since we have a good amount, the second row I can't see unless I scroll down, so I won't know when somebody shows up unless I'm looking at it, just to give all of you a heads up. But what I want to do first, so this is our Red Beret, is more than an hour, so let's call it an hour just because that's a better way of saying it, Red Beret hour. And I reached out, so for our audience, the reason I'm doing a lot of content this week is because my girls are on spring break. And I said, oh, let me take advantage of this time. Let me do some more things. Let me get people on that I've been wanting to talk to for a while that I don't have the time. It's scheduling. Red Berets were one of them because they were part of our general strike, and I just wanted to bring them back on to talk about all the things you're doing. So it's not a specific topic that we're talking about. I just want to know what's happening with the Red Berets. What are the different things you have your feet in, and start from there. But let's first start with sort of introductions, and we'll start with the person right next to me. I think that's Scott. Yeah.
Yes, thank you for having me on, brother. I'm Scott Denoyer. I'm from upstate New York and started the New York chapter of the Red Berets. Recently, we had an action in Fidelis here in New York, and we'll get to that later. And I guess we'll pass it to the next introduction, Dr. Jarvis.
Yes,
hey,
just continue.
Hi, I'm Joe Jarvis. I'm a physician. I live in Salt Lake City, Utah. And I'm involved in a number of things, including the American Health Security Project, of producing a movie, writing books, working with Laura on a variety of other fronts, and fighting on all fronts. And on to Laura.
I'm sorry. I thought I was late. That's the same thing I said. So let's start. Actually, let's end with Laura because I want to ask Laura the first question. So let's start right below me and then go across and end with Laura. Okay, so I think it's
Unmute,
Jen. Yeah, there you go. We got to unmute you, Jen. There you go.
Hey, Jay.
Hello.
I'm Jen Nye. I'm calling in from Seattle, Washington. I am the volunteer comm director for Whole Washington. A huge fan of the Red Berets. We're about ready to start our initiative process. So I'll pass it on to the next person, Skuro.
Hi, Jay. Finally, very nice meeting you.
Good meeting you too.
Yeah, my name is Sukur Force. I'm based in LA. I am what I call myself as fire starter at Cal Red Berets, California branch of Red Berets.
Absolutely. And Laura.
Okay. Hi, everybody. I'm a holistic healthcare practitioner. I am a veteran for peace. I am a grassroots knitter, and I am a fight on all fronts, sir. So I look forward, and I'm really appreciative, CJ, that you reached out to afford us the opportunity to talk about the many different ways in this state of oligarchy and duopoly corruption. Where do we go? Do we have a fighting chance? I guess those are the questions. So thank you very much.
Absolutely. So let's get right into it. I'm going to leave your names up and I'll pop up some things here and there. But let's start with a broad sort of explanation. I guess anyone can answer this. It could be you, Laura, or anyone you want to designate. Can you tell the audience who are not familiar with the Red Berets just a general understanding? Give us a general understanding of who you are and what you do.
Yeah, thank you. Well, I'll answer to that. Initially, it was an idea. I had an idea that if knitters and crocheters could craft in resistance to something, we could certainly use our knitting needles, crochet hooks, whatever our craft tools are to very specifically craft for national improved Medicare for all and healthcare justice. So initially it was me trying to spread this idea of knit for nurses and the 99%. I chose RED because of National Nurses United being the biggest labor union of nurses who support Medicare for all. I've been asked a lot of times, why did you choose the color red? That's the reason. And then I was introduced locally to whole Washington through an RN, through a local nurse. And that grew into local activism and me getting involved in the ballot initiative process with whole Washington in 2018. And then I had joined Twitter along the time that it seems we were trying to do all of these things at one time, organize events, in my case, knit berets, amplify on social media, get out and gather signatures, which whole Washington at that time in 2018 gathered almost 105,000 signatures on volunteer efforts alone. It was it was my first entree into activism and boots on the ground activism. I have not had that amount of energy and inspiration before or since. But we'll say hopefully more about that later. But the point is that I got onto Twitter at that point and decided there's no way if we do this again that I'm going to allow, we need a much bigger social media presence, and we're going to need to grow this coalition outside of the boundaries of Washington State and see what other people are doing. And maybe we can use this connective red thread in order to do that. So that was my objective. And I've come into contact since that point with amazing activists like Scott Denoyer, like Joe Jarvis, like Sakuru, and many, many more. And so we do craftivism, we do direct action, and that's probably enough for now. Thank you.
So I'll go to the doctor. Can you tell us about yourself, why you became a part of this organization?
I've been working on health system reform for 30 years now. I was a public health officer at the time when I began to realize how broken and expensive the system was and how it wasn't serving patients, but was making a lot of money for the limited few. And so I've tried a lot of different strategies to bring awareness and help people, my colleagues, my patients, my family, my friends, the broad public understand how serious this problem is, and that we need a substantial way of changing how business is done in healthcare. For all these 30 years, written op-ed pieces, spoken on a variety of platforms, lobbied, started nonprofit organizations, ran for office several times. I came to the Red Berets because they came to me. I look for colleagues. I look for people who are full of ideas and full of energy and want to do something and want to try something. Recognize that traditional ways of handling change in society are probably not going to work in this case because there's such a vast amount of money and resources that we must overcome. And so when I published a book called The Purple World, thus my purple beret instead of red beret. I published a book. I was invited to speak in Washington, and I met Laura that way. And she and I shared an interest from the get-go. She sent several other people my way, including the director of a film that's about to be produced. And I've been helping him produce that film for the past year. That's called Healing Us. It'll be out very soon. We just need to keep trying all kinds of things to, first and foremost, help the general public be able to articulate what their anxiety is about healthcare. And it's absolutely the case that that Americans everywhere know something's really, really wrong with our healthcare system. They just don't know how to articulate it yet. We've got to find a way to get into their consciousness so they understand why it is they feel that way. They can speak out about it, and then they can also process what to do next. So a lot of different ways of approaching that. That's how I came to know Laura, and that's what I'm still trying to work on with her help.
Absolutely. Let's go to Jen. Can you tell us a little bit more about yourself?
Yeah, I came into this fight kind of as a free agent. I had an experience with a family member. My brother was stricken with a really debilitating form of MS while he was living in Chile. And my mom and I traveled there to make him come home. But before that, we had an experience with their healthcare system. And they apologized to us for charging, for MRIs or for tests or whatever. And then to come home and see what the experience is here. And just, and then Bernie's campaign really blew it open for me. It was just such an obvious solution. And so I had tried the normal routes of calling and emailing and writing letters to my elected officials and getting nowhere. And so realizing that my state had an initiative process and we could do something ourselves was the most motivating experience. And this is where you actually get to talk to people about it. And so I'm really excited for this opportunity this spring and summer and fall to make this happen.
Absolutely. And I know I've been kind of going around to get everybody a little bit more time to just kind of talk about themselves, but let's go to, I don't want to say your name wrong. How do you say your name? Suzuki? I'm going to say Sakuru.
You mean me, right? Tsukuru?
Yes. Sakuru. Yep. There we go.
That's perfect.
So it's not because I don't know how to pronounce. It's because I don't have good eyesight and I can't see whether that's a K or a U.
Oh,
so
I totally.
That's what
totally
it is. Yeah, it's my eyesight. And I need to get glasses. I need to get, but I can't really afford it. But anyway, that's part of this conversation too. But let's talk. Can you tell us a little more about yourself and why you're a part of this fight?
Yes, of course. But actually, as a side note, yeah, I can totally relate to you not seeing because that's what's happening to me. And for the same reason, I cannot afford buying another pair of glasses. So anyhow, so I am okay. So I started out my activism in anti-war, anti-nuclear space. Because I grew up in Hiroshima, went to school went to high school where 350 students died on August 6, 1945. So that was the genesis of my activism. So healthcare justice, I'm very, very new to this. I kind of jumped in last year. I was the organizer in San Francisco for Medicare for All March on July 24th. So that's how I started, and then kind of everything started to happen because Laura found me or found a sort of like a video segment that I did on that day on July 24th. So what I have to say though, actually, so here's the thing. So even though I was primarily anti-war and anti-nuclear activist, I no longer believe in single issue activism because all the issues are really related. We are all connected. So I am very, very passionate about healthcare justice because for one, it's very personal. I lost my job in 2021 and, I lost my insurance. And so I am fighting, frankly, for my children. I have one child who is 25, but all other people, because without healthcare and a bunch of other things, fair wages, housing,
right.
all of that, there's no future. There's no future for this country. And, I'm originally from Japan, became a citizen 3 years ago because I wanted to have a say in where this country is going. And I'm not going to let my child and other people's children suffer because of this, because of lack of healthcare. So
that's great. And now let's go to Scott. Can you kind of talk about yourself? Tell us, how long have you been a Red Beret and why did you become a Red Beret?
Yeah, I've been active for about 3 years. I actually came active in 2016. And then when we saw what happened after the primaries, I kind of got annoyed and said, I ain't doing no more until 2019. And in 2019 is when I became active again. And that was a very personal reasoning when I lost my son. He was living with me and came home one day and he goes, "Pops, I went to get my medicine refilled today and found out my insurance had been canceled." I was like, "Okay, Danny, not a big deal. How much is it?" And he told us his medicine was $250, right? And you were talking about your glasses. I mean, yet we didn't have $250 for this medicine. It's like, "Okay, Danny, you got an appointment with your therapist in a couple of weeks and sure, she can help you out. In the meantime, we'll try to come up with the money and you need to get a hold of Fidelis Care and find out what's going on." Fidelis Care was his managed Medicaid provider through the ACA. And they are owned by Centene right now, which is the biggest beneficiary of the managed Medicaid program. And the medication Danny was on was risperidone. Well, when Danny called Fidelis, he found out that he had missed a $20 payment to his managed Medicaid program. And they informed him when he paid his payment that day that his plan would be reinstated on May 1st, the next billing cycle. And the medication risperidone has a known suicidal risk from withdrawals. On April 9th of 2019, I saw a suicide post on Facebook saying that he decided death by drowning because he couldn't get above the pain, that he superglued his seatbelt shut, and then he drove his truck into the Mohawk River. I became active right then and there. I promised Danny at his funeral that I'm going to make his lawmakers look me in the eye and see the consequences of their decisions. It was within days, Laura and the Red Berets have reached out to me, and they have been a pillar of strength. I've been across this country with the Red Berets because of their generosity and their donations and helping me get there. And as I said, that was April 9th, which was only 10 days ago, to 3 years. And on that day, we brought it to Fidelis Care because the owner of Fidelis Care is a father, Patrick Frawley, an ordained minister of the Brooklyn Catholic Diocese. And the Catholic Church used to preach about the unforgivable sin of one took their own life, they'd never get into the gates of heaven. Well, Father Frawley is committing that unforgivable sin every single day by denying Medicaid patients the needed medications they need to live. So we actually had some really good news coverage on that. And I might also say on that news coverage, you and Rome were talking about, getting out in the streets and fighting. You can look on that news coverage. Every single person in that group had a red beret on. Every single one of them. And we had solidarity events across the country. We need people get up there and stand with us and fight. But that's why I'm here. And that's why I can't thank these Red Berets enough.
Absolutely. Do we have a clip of that on Twitter? A link that I can play of the news coverage?
The news clip, there is one. I will try to get it to you on that chat.
Or the chat. You can put it in the private chat. Yeah, you can put it in the private chat too, and then I'll play that. I'll play that clip. Now we do have a new beret that just joined us, so let's make sure we introduce. I can't see because I can't see, the name is too small. So if you could say your name, sir.
Right, Jamin Mason. A lot of people call me Jammin. With the Red Berets, and very happy to be here.
Absolutely. And you can also just give us a little bit more about yourself. Talk about, how long you've been a Red Beret and maybe why you became a Red Beret.
This has been about 6 months. I became a Red Beret because healthcare is a mandatory. And these people are not giving it to us. I'm one of them people that like to yell, scream, and let people know what I'm here for is healthcare for all. Like the Danny situation, it's horrible. And that happens 68,000 times a year is just insane. And me personally, I am here to, with solidarity with the Red Berets, to bring this to light and let these people know most people don't even know what Medicare for All. They've heard it and they think it's a dream. But we're here to show them this reality.
Absolutely. And thank you for that. I think I got everyone. So now in a lot of when everybody was talking, there were inclinations and references to healthcare. So this organization is not primarily, but the focus is getting healthcare, it sounds like. So I don't know who, I mean, I'll let you pick whoever to start with. So let's talk about one of the issues, or if it's just one issue. What is the first healthcare topic or issue that you're dealing with or you're addressing now? Is it the state healthcare you're trying to get in Washington, or is it something else that you can speak to? Whoever would like to speak. We'll start with Laura, and then if you can, we'll designate somebody else, I guess.
Thank you, Jay. So, well, really quickly, I think we should maybe lead into whole Washington, as it's our pressing front that we have right now. But if I could just really quickly add on why I wanted to welcome Jamin is just Jamin and the People's Party of Washington, who are now under the umbrella of United People's Assembly. I just really wanted to say a gratitude not only to People's Party of Washington, but also to the Black Panther Party of Washington, who, I went to one of their events on Saturday, and they showed up for us and for our solidarity event in Wright Park. And I hope maybe that you'll look into some of the local work they're doing, and they deserve their own amazing panel. But what Jamin has really represents locally here is the coalition building that we're working to do with not only the Red Berets, but of course, whole Washington. And one of the things that has happened that Jamin has come through ever since last year in March, I think it was the first time that Kenny Ballantyne showed up to do some filming when he had reached out to ask if anyone had done a documentary on the Red Berets movement. And I said no. And he said, well, would you like to collaborate? And so we scheduled him a trip to come on up here. And whole Washington has always been an organization that has done actions like for the federal legislation, as well as trying to pass universal health care for Washingtonians. But I reached out to Jamin and People's Party to ask them to show up for that rally outside of Representative Kilmer's office. That was the first time that he showed up for us. It's like my experience of Jamin so far is every time I reach out, he's there. He's showing up, and that includes I don't know, maybe it was in November timeframe. We were really heavy into the pre-campaign for whole Washington, and we just wanted to really get some signature We knew that the pre-campaign is necessary because you can't just print petitions and then say, okay, it's time to go out and start gathering signatures. Where's your ground game? We actually need a lot of dedicated signature people to go out and gather signatures. So, I reached out again to Jamin and said, do you think you or anybody from the People's Party of Washington would be willing to get into a whole Washington signature captain meeting and see if you're up for becoming a signature captain? That very same night or the next day, I don't remember when I sent the text, but there's Jamin and 4 other people from the People's Party of Washington coalition. So, the thing that and then we can go, you did say, let's maybe look at whole Washington. My experience with...
Let me interrupt there because we're talking about whole Washington, and there's people that may not even know what that is. Can somebody define that, or if you can define what whole Washington is first?
I would like to defer to Jen, just because
Okay.
Yes, please. Thank you.
Yeah, we're an organization. It's an all volunteer coalition of healthcare activists, and we have legislation in our legislature, but it never gets out of committee. And this is despite the fact that universal healthcare, single payer healthcare is written into the Democratic platform at both the state and national level. And we have a majority. We have a Democratic governor, and it doesn't matter. The status quo is just too powerful. And so we're going to have to take it from their hands. And that's what this initiative process gives us. It gives us this opportunity to do that. And it is a big hill to climb. No joke. 405,000 signatures is not going to be easy. It's going to have to take a sustained effort of 8 months of just consistently getting out there. And while it is really fulfilling and people are really grateful that we're doing this work, it's also super volatile. You know, you just never know who you're going to interact with in these spaces. And but at the same time, this type of like face-to-face interaction and education is absolutely imperative for us to win. And so if you're not in Washington, and just to be clear, like, you know, nobody wants a statewide healthcare system. We want a national system, but we have to prove how much better this is. And this is a way that we can do this. And the movement itself is just as important. The groundswell of support is just as important as the actual legislation. So we have to show up. And if we can get support from other states pouring in, it just shows that the people truly do want this, and we're willing to stick our neck out to do it. So we're really close to starting. We're at the phase where we're actually going to be printing the petitions. Everything else is lined up. And so it's a matter of just getting them across the state and getting pen to paper. And so if you're not in Washington, but you support the universal healthcare movement overall, we could definitely use your financial support, and just sharing the message on social media helps too.
Absolutely. I actually I'm going to share this now. I have the Twitter account up for Whole Washington. This is the right account, right?
That's it.
Okay. So you can go here, find out information. Let me go to your most recent tweet here. So could you explain this particular tweet that we're looking at?
Sure. Yeah, that's our number, initiative 1471. So yes, on 1471. That the picture in the background is the actual layout of the petition. That's what people are going to see when they're signing it.
Let me go back here. So maybe I zoomed in too much. No, you meant this part back here. Okay, I get what you're saying. Okay, yep. So that's what this post is. You're showing them what it will look like. That's your initiative number. This is awesome. Let me see if there's a link. The website I had is still kind of opening. It's not. I clicked on it, but it's still.
Well, I wouldn't really right at the moment like highlight the website.
Okay.
But we're in the middle, and like again, I just want to say, Grassroots, all volunteer. We're updating the website to an entirely new site, and it should be live next week.
Okay.
If you want,
then that explains. Yeah. Then that explains. But
I mean, there's nothing wrong with the current one, but there's just like new, great information that's not available on the old one yet.
Okay. All right. So that answers the question about So it sounds to me we didn't necessarily talk about there being that. It sounds like there's one issue that's happening right now. There's Washington, there's this whole Washington, and there's this initiative, and there's over 400,000 signatures that's needed in the state of Washington.
By December.
You have 8 months total to get those.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so that's what we're picking up. And whole Washington is Washington State's version of Medicare for all, or single payer?
It's as single payer as it can possibly get. There are some federal programs that won't be touched, like the VA. But anyone that's on some type of federal program like Medicare or a state federal mix like Medicaid, they can voluntarily enroll in the Washington Health Trust and get the same benefits. And just to be clear, what we're talking about here is comprehensive care. We're talking vision, dental, mental health services, substance abuse help, reproductive care, gender affirming care, whatever your doctor tells you is needed is covered. And this also means that there's going to be no copays, no deductibles that you have to meet. And the big news with this initiative is that there's no individual premium even. So it's basically funded, a majority of the funding is coming from employers, which makes sense to me. Like, they're using our labor and our time, and they need to take care of us. And so they'll be making a contribution. They can deduct up to 2% of their contribution from the employee's paycheck. And then the other source of funding is a capital gains tax. So this is another way that Washingtonians can actually shift the wealth inequality balance. We've got a really regressive tax system, and this helps a lot. So if this passes, it means absolutely everybody can enroll with the highest quality comprehensive care and not have to deal with those insurance costs like deductibles and copays and outrageous prescriptions and all of that traumatizing stuff.
So if there's a supermajority, I'm asked. This is one of those times where I'm asking a question I know the answer. If there's a supermajority in Washington State, why can't this be passed through the legislature?
They're working around the edges because they really they're comfortable. Their campaigns are funded by a lot of these corporate entities, and it plays a big part in what gets discussed and what gets voted on. And there's lots of ways to make it look like they're working toward universal health care. But we need to essentially transform. We need to actually remove the middleman and get profit out completely and move to a single payer like system. And that's what this would do.
Okay. I do have the interview that happened. If the event was on the 9th, how does he have this for the 8th? But this is what I was sent. So I think this is it. It looks familiar because I did watch it actually. So I think this is it. So let's
that date on there is just
Buffalo Regional Office. Here, Buffalo Regional Office.
There we go. Say that again.
So the date on there is definitely wrong because it was on the 9th. They just had the wrong date.
Right. Okay. Case just put the wrong date. Okay. So here we go.
The Fidelis Care Buffalo Regional Office was depicted as a crime scene. The crimes in question, according to demonstrators, theft and negligence by private insurance companies, which the family of Daniel Denoyer says led to his suicide in 2019 when he was 29 years old. Before events leading to the tragedy, Daniel learned his insurance had been canceled after being denied a prescription refill, which would have cost $250 out of pocket.
He found out that he was late paying a $20 payment. He actually took out his card that day and made the $20 payment. and Fidelis told him that his medication would be, or his plan would be reinstated on the next billing cycle on May 1st.
By the time Daniel's plan was to be reinstated for him to receive his prescription for risperidone, a medication used to treat certain mood and mental disorders, it was too late.
It was on April 9th, 3 years ago to the day, that I saw his suicide note on Facebook, where he told us that he's sorry for hurting those who care, that this is selfish, he's sure, but he's decided death by drowning because he can't get above the pain. He said that he's super good at seatbelt shut and that he couldn't break it free. And then he drove his truck into the Mohawk River after saying goodbye to his 2 children.
Scott has vowed to use his son's story as a catalyst for change in the nation's approach to healthcare, and he was joined outside of Fidelis Saturday by local politicians and advocates of the New York Health Act, which would guarantee every resident of the state universal single-payer healthcare. The calls for change go beyond the state level as the fight for systemic change persists.
I'm not here fighting to save Danny. I missed that chance. I'm here fighting for everyone else's kids because nobody needs to live my life waking up every day without their kid because he missed a $20 payment to his insurance company.
In addition to calling for the resignation of Fidelis Care founder and vice president of social responsibilities at insurance giant Centene, Father Patrick Frawley, Daniel's family wants to see accountability among high-ranking officials. Scott cited a tweet from then-Senator Kamala Harris in which she shared Daniel's story as grounds for support of Medicare for All. But weeks later, her proposal for a plan included allowing private insurance companies to compete. She now serves as vice president under Joe Biden, who suggested during his campaign that he would veto Medicare for All.
She used Danny's story as a commercial for the ones who murdered him. This ain't right. We need to change this system, and we're not going to do it by people staying home and cheering us on from the sidelines. We all need to get out here in the streets and change this system.
Scott is continuing to fight for change in hopes that no more lives will be lost due to insurance denial.
I want the corporations that kill our children to be as dead as they make our children. Not the people, but the businesses. Insurance has no business in our healthcare system. I want to end all for-profit health insurance industry.
Ijaz Jasil, Spectrum News.
That's a great story. Shout out to Case Study QB for curating that clip. And so there's oh, I'm sorry. The next, I'm trying to look for the thing to take this out. That's what I'm looking for here. Okay, it's this one. There we go. All right, so the next sort of question I have. So we've established that there is an initiative. You have to get these signatures, the amount. How are you going about? Are you coalitioning with other organizations to sort of get these signatures, and how is that coalition building going? Whoever feels they have the answer to that or would like to address it, multiple people can address it if you like.
I'll jump in.
Okay.
We're a third party. The People's Party of Washington is a third party, not to be confused with the Brana Party, just to let y'all know. So we're here to work with anyone to get this passed. I don't care if you're a Republican, a Democrat. I'm here. I will work with you to get this passed. You see what I'm saying? I know I'm a third party. I know that's going to be the only way for people to get a real voice in this picture. But as far as Medicare for All, that's going to help us all. So I want anyone, and I'm open to anyone coming in, signing, working with us to get these signatures for, like it was said earlier, 400,000 signatures, 400,000 signatures is no joke. So we need we need coalitions. We need each other. We need solidarity. We need people to stand up. Like Scott said earlier, you can't just sit there and talk about these issues and not face them head on and run into the traffic that you're going to face. We're all going to face that. But because these people, the whole reason, these people want to hold on to their monopoly. That's how they're doing it. So, like I said, coalition building. Of course, I think the Democratic Party or that situation is going to work? Hell no. That's obvious. Pramila Jayapal proved that 2 days ago or 3 days ago. That's a fact. But what I'm saying is, if you'll stand in solidarity with me, with us, on situations that will help the masses, come on, sign this thing. I'm definitely, like I said, we're working with Jason Call. He's running for a candidate out here in Tacoma. We're working with him as we speak. We're writing a Washington bill. We're trying to push through reparations for support for a federal reparations program. That's a man that I respect and greatly adore. We see him out here doing everything. And regardless, even though I don't agree with him ideology-wise, I agree with his stance on humans and helping everyone. So coalition building, without a doubt, is bar none. We have to. That's the only way 400,000 signatures are going to come our way. And so let's get out there and get it. And I'll yield the floor at that.
So 400,000. I know we're saying that. What's the actual number? It was 400,000 and some odd.
405. That gives us
405. Oh, I was gonna say, because that's the part I was gonna get to, is that aren't we getting more than what it actually need? Because they're gonna challenge.
Right. It's 8% of the last gubernatorial race, and that race was the Trump-Biden race. So it was a huge.
That's
turnout.
why it's so big. That's why it's so big.
It increased what we had to make by 100,000 signatures. So.
Right.
It's a tough lift.
Okay. So I can't imagine the different things detractors could be saying about this type of movement. But what are we hearing? This could be anybody. What are we hearing? What are detractors or opponents of this saying? And I'm saying this because there's a couple of people in the comments that are asking questions, and I'm curious to hear, is there pushback against this, and why would
I'd be willing to take that.
I'm not interested in people who don't want healthcare, because they're going to have critiques. We're not to listen to those people. I'm saying people who are on the side of healthcare, do they have any critiques that you could speak to?
Yes.
Yeah.
One of the biggest critiques that we've heard was from people who are concerned that our state-based legislation might impede national legislation, which is no further than the truth than it could be, because none of us are looking just to pass our individual states. I mean, I've worked with Washington as well as whole Washington works with New York Health Act. They're concerned that because on the state level we have to rely upon taxes, whereas the federal level, they're able to write into the budget Medicare for all, and would be able to handle it financially a whole lot easier, being that they can just manufacture the money that they need at will. Much like we do with the failed F-35 program and missiles for everywhere else. So we have the money federally to do it, but on the state level, we do have to use state taxes to fund our programs and navigate money from the federal sources into our plans. And they're concerned that if we were to fail on the state level, that it would not only tarnish, well, look, they failed, that's why it's never going to work. And they're also concerned that we're not going to push nationally. Of course, I might suggest that the other way around, if we get 1 to 3 of these states passed, we'll have the groundswell to move forward nationally. Furthermore, every state that we take away from these insurance giants is taking money out of their pockets. And when I say that, it's not really taking money out of their pockets, because they're going to make up for it by increasing premiums, co-pays, deductibles, everywhere else where they haven't lost their money, so they can continue keeping up their money, making these state plans look more lucrative. But our
absolutely
100% plan is on a national level, and we get that done, by getting the grounds moving first, just like we've done with marijuana legalization, with gay marriage, and civil rights all down the road.
Absolutely. To me, that's not really, it's not an issue in a sense to say I would be against that. You get what I'm saying? Like, if you can't get it nationwide, but you're able to get it in 2 states, why would you be against at least the people in those 2 states being able to achieve that? So that seems like a weird criticism to me. If that's what you want, again, I'm not talking about the people who are against it. We're not to listen to those people, because they're just going to say nonsense, right? But to the people who would be on our same side, that would be something that would be important to address. So then, like, how are we moving forward with the ballot initiative? Like, how are we? We're coalition building, but is there any other like for other people who have had ballot initiatives, have we reached out to them to get sort of strategies? Do we have a history of people like what was the last ballot initiative to get on the ballot that wasn't necessarily corporate funded? Because corporations can pay thousands of people to get signatures very quickly. But when you don't have that type of funding, like you don't have, it's tough. So can you speak to that? Anyone who would like to speak to that?
State-based single-payer ballot initiatives have surfaced in several states. 2 that I can think of right off the top of my head are Massachusetts, some 20 some odd years ago, and California, also about that in the 1990s, if I recall correctly. And again, those were grassroots efforts, both of them. They got through the signatures required to get the ballot initiative actually before the voters. So that was a major hurdle and great success, and speaks to the underlying swell of support that's true of single payer, of any kind of approach to transforming the way we do business in healthcare. The way we do business in healthcare is very costly because it's very wasteful. The insurance business model is wasteful because of its overhead. It organizes itself around the principle of denying people the care they need. That benefit denial, which is the principal operating mechanism of health insurance, requires a great deal of labor to do, and that's very expensive. And they do it explicitly because they can then take the revenue stream and take the cream off of the top for profits. What I call waste, they call profits. That's the number one reason why we have so much excess cost in our healthcare system. The second reason is because we have poor quality in the American healthcare system. I know that may be a disruptive and disheartening thing for people to talk about, especially from a physician. The American healthcare system is characterized by poor quality. Poor quality care costs more. Higher quality care actually costs less. Between the high overhead and the poor quality that is characteristic of how we do business in the United States, we waste $1 trillion out of more than $4 trillion that we're currently spending every year. People in general in the United States understand that there's something really, really wrong. They may not be able to articulate what I just said about it being an overhead problem and a quality waste problem, but they know something's wrong because they go into the care system either themselves or with family members and see, as Scott saw, how their family members' lives are discarded and are not tended to and are not helped, and often die. We have excess deaths in the United States due to the way we do business in healthcare. 70,000 people don't have enough coverage at all to finance what they need in American healthcare, and therefore lack the services they need. But that's only the tip of the iceberg. 250,000 Americans die every year due to preventable injury to hospitalized patients in the United States. probably the most dangerous thing an average American will do in his or her lifetime is allow him or herself to be admitted to a hospital where the staffing ratios have fallen far below what they were when I first started in healthcare now many years ago. And it's not safe to be a patient. The nurses are overworked. They're unable to actually attend to the needs of the patients. The hygiene is poor. That's because all of those things, to do them right, costs money from the perspective of the for-profit hospital chain, and they ignore best practice for the patient because they only have a fiduciary duty. They, the management of a for-profit hospital, only has one fiduciary duty, and it's not to the patient. It's to make as much money as possible for the stockholder. So they rob the care itself in order to make the profits as high as possible. All of those are reasons why Americans in general, when asked, and they have been many times over, as recently as the end of last year, there was another polling done of Americans about what they think about American healthcare. And what did they say? It's too expensive and it's broken. They were very harsh in their judgment about America's healthcare system. This is why there is this swell of support for ballot initiatives that would change dramatically the way we do healthcare business, because everyone knows that it's wrong. What we're doing is wholly and totally wrong. Now, I come at this from a political perspective and from an entirely different place than most people who are healthcare reform advocates. I grew up in suburban America as a very conservative person in Arizona when Barry Goldwater was the leading political right in Arizona. And I remain, in my view, a conservative, meaning I adhere to doctrines and principles that have long been believed to be good and useful and beneficial to all of us. What we have in American politics today between Republicans and Democrats has nothing to do with actual conservatism and or a liberal sort of approach. What we have is a capture by these corporate interests, most of whom are in the medical industry, of our politicians in both parties. Another reason why people know that they need to reach for ballot initiatives, because those are nonpartisan votes, that have nothing to do with either of the major parties. And I left the Republican Party after having been a nominee for the Republicans a couple of times running for the legislature. I've left the party, and I know a lot of people who used to be Democrats who've left that party for this very reason. It's not serving Americans. It's serving American corporations and maybe foreign corporations, but it's not serving the people it's intended to serve. We're taxing ourselves in the United States for healthcare at a rate higher than any other nation taxes its people. We pay more healthcare taxes, literally, than do the people of any other nation, first world or not. We already tax ourselves enough to pay more for healthcare than any other nation. We could do this if we got rid of the waste. Every American knows this at some level. Every American understands it's wrong. We're not taking care of ourselves. We're not putting hands on each other. We're not helping each other. And no wonder our country's falling apart at the seams. We don't love each other enough to care for each other at this point. We have got to get those corporate interests out of the way. And this is why state-based ballot initiatives are so successful. I'm in a very red state in Utah. I have begun a process, hopefully following down the path of whole Washington, that will bring to the ballot healthcare reform to the people of Utah. Red state. About 4 years ago in Utah, a ballot initiative proposed that we expand Medicaid. The legislature had refused and refused and refused. Guess what? The people of Utah, a red state, voted that in. They accepted it, they embraced it, they endorsed it. Why? Because they all know it's wrong that people don't get the care they need. Everybody knows that. Republicans, Democrats, we are nonpartisan when it comes to our health care. We've all voted generously for these taxes that support our healthcare system. We just want them now applied to our patients, that their lives are what matter first and foremost, and not the profits of the American healthcare system. That's why these ballot initiatives are such an important part of moving us forward. Whole Washington is being able to draw people to this cause, educate them, help them understand why they're so anxious about this, help them articulate it, and then vote for something that will make a difference. That's what we're going to do in Utah. We're going to follow their example. The people in Oregon are trying the same thing. California, New York, Maine, it's going to happen everywhere. And once these things start falling down, once these dominoes start to fall, we will get what we need out of our federal policy.
That's why the fight, even at the state levels, are so fierce, because they know it's going to catch wildfire, just like the Starbucks unionizing. They know California gets it, Arizona gets it, Utah gets it, Washington, and they're gonna, well, why? Then, we're gonna get it too. We're gonna get some sort of version, and the writing's on the wall.
Yeah,
some sort of single payer healthcare is coming to the United States, whether they like it or not. It is coming. It's just a matter of time of who. But go ahead. Let
me make a point about that. Once Whole Washington gets the signatures they need, and I have every confidence that they will pull that off, you will be amazed at how much money is spent by the political interests of the corporate America against that initiative. In Massachusetts, when they ran their ballot initiative now almost 30 years ago, the ballot initiative proponents were outspent 5-1 by the insurance and other interests in healthcare. California, the same thing. We have failed to do the heavy political lift in this country over and over again on healthcare, not because the people don't understand that it needs to be done, but because we're not playing by the hard-nosed political rules that the other side uses to defeat us. This is why, with Laura's help and a few other people, we have founded a new political action committee that will take this on. It's called the American Health Security Project. You'll find it on the website and under AmericanHealthSecurityProject.org. But our plan is to organize for the single payer movement, a political action committee that will have the money to pick the political fights and push back when Whole Washington needs help, and they're all volunteer people, right? They're going to get outspent by the medical interests. We're going to be there to try to build a public image that will help them, that will support them, and that will shepherd this ballot initiative to the ballot box, through the vote, and to victory. That's what we need. That's what we're looking for.
So this is like a super PAC.
This is a super PAC. That's right.
Okay, I'm glad you brought that up so we can address that and get this out of the way, because Doctor, I know you have a conservative history. On the opposite side, super PACs is very biohazardous in some leftist circles. So if anyone can kind of address those people that may be in line with you with the policy, but they have an issue with this, did anybody want to kind of address that? This is one of the things that was also in the comments that I was going to get to, but I'm glad you brought that up. So if any or go ahead.
I understand why people are aghast at the topic of super PACs. Of course, they've been abused. The dark money in American politics is a major reason of what's wrong with why it is that we don't get what we need out of Congress and our state legislatures. I'm sick and tired of that too. One of the conservative people I used to follow and support was John McCain, who with Senator Feingold wrote the McCain-Feingold change to how politics was funded, which of course was overturned by the Supreme Court. So I get why people are opposed to that. And I'm uncomfortable myself with the idea that this is what we have to do. But the fact is, when Whole Washington puts that on the bill, that ballot initiative, puts it out there for the voters, there's going to be a huge amount of money spent by super PACs on the other side that will lie and otherwise denigrate what is being done by Whole Washington. They will turn it around. They'll confuse people. They'll make people think that it is something that it isn't.
Yeah, the opposite.
Because they have the ability to buy the political speech. And if we don't answer back, if we don't buy the political speech and answer back, we're going to lose that. Just like Massachusetts lost it and California did when they had ballot initiatives. The only way to win this is to fight fire with fire. We have to fight with everything we have. We'll make this as grassroots as we possibly can. We'll keep ourselves as evident to people as we possibly can, but there is only one way to fight this fight. And it's a political fight. It's not anything else. We're going to gore somebody's ox. We're going to take something away from them. If we're going to throw them to the ground and beat them up like that, we've got to play hardball. That's what this is all about. And I'm sorry it has to be that way. I hope someday it won't be that way.
No, this is hard discussion. This is a very hard discussion because you describe it accurately that this particular policy of healthcare is something that everybody needs and it's very needed, especially after this pandemic. And then on the other hand, you have super PACs. You yourself say you're uncomfortable with it, so it's a hard choice. It's a hard choice that you're being sort of pushed in the corner to make, and you've made your decision, and you're gonna lose some people, but you may gain some people on the other hand. It's just what it is. It's just what it is. But go ahead if you wanted to continue.
I've been in this fight for 30 years, and I have tried everything I can think of. I have run for office myself several times. I have started a nonprofit organization that still exists and got captured by the powers that be, the insurance industry, and turned away from single payer to do things that support the status quo. I've watched all kinds of things go by. I have lobbied, I can't tell you how many different members of the legislature, 3 different states and Congress. I've been there, and I know as recently as last July was the last time I was on Capitol Hill in Washington, D.C., speaking to people that represent me from the state of Utah. They don't care what I have to say. Why? They're not afraid of me. Right. There isn't anything that I can do to them that they have to fear. They will go to their usual and customary source of funding, dark money. They will say to the corner of the very far right wing in Utah what they have to say to get renominated, and they will sail back into office because they don't care what I think or what will change people's lives. We have got to make them afraid of us. This is a political fight. This is how you win it. That is. I mean, I hate to be in this position.
No. How? So let's go. I'm of the RBN members. I'm the person that runs to disagreements and fights and arguments. I'm running because I need to I want to understand what's happening, and the only way to do that is to have these discussions. So Brandy is here. I believe she's with you, right? So I'm gonna put her in. So. Hey, Brandy, welcome.
Hey.
So, yes.
Can I
go ahead.
Speaking as the leftist, who was one of the leftists who was approached, can I just say a little word about months and months ago when Dr. Jarvis came up to Washington State? And I don't need to give a whole lot of backdrop on that other than to say, he was very clear when he presented the idea. He knew that asking us, we would have a lot of reservations and pushback, and he was right about that. I really had to think about it and ponder it for some time. And I want, for viewers, for your audience, I would like people to understand just a little piece of history of one of our steering committee members, and that's Georgia Davenport, who founded, or certainly she and a couple other people founded Whole Washington. Georgia had just come off of successfully running a ballot, participating in gathering signatures for Initiative 735, which is to overturn Citizens United in Washington State. And so they had just come off of, and they were successful. They got the signatures and it passed. They had to run it. I think they ran, the first time it was run, they did not pass it, which is often common of ballot initiatives. It takes 1 or 2 tries before that success. So I want people to understand that one of the leftist and founder of Whole Washington, Georgia Davenport, clearly we're all against super PACs. So it was so why are you founding one if you're so against them? Well, I want people to understand the history of what led Georgia Davenport in part to found Whole Washington was having just come off of the victory and working very hard to gather signatures to overturn Citizens United in Washington state. And then she and a couple of other activists started talking who had gathered signatures for I-735. Okay, what's next? And this was right around the time of the first time that the DNC cheated Bernie Sanders out of the nomination. They could see the writing was on the wall that Bernie would not be getting the nomination in 2016. So they started looking and saying, okay, what's next? Is anyone for running a universal healthcare ballot initiative? Because regardless of whoever is elected or wins the presidency, we don't have a Medicare for all candidate. Doesn't matter if it's Trump or Hillary. So that was some of the founding history of Whole Washington, was the grassroots empowerment of choosing an issue, working really hard on an issue, having success, and then saying, let's take this to universal health care. I don't know that we're going to convince anyone who... People should have concerns. People should always have concerns about this, just like Joe was just saying. But what I know to be true is that I work very hard, both on social media and within my network off of social media, to try to grassroots fundraise for a ballot for Whole Washington. Being an all-volunteer organization and being a creative type of person, I've thought maybe we can knit and crochet berets. And here we have a nurse from Florida who sends a package of red berets to Georgia Davenport once every month, and then people can go online and order these. Scott Denoyer crafts the solidarity pins that people can order. Like, we're really the grassiest of the grassroots. How can we creatively get out and fundraise? Because Whole Washington has to go through, and they should go through, but and print all of the petitions union printed. These things cost money, and I know it's not something like we want to think that it doesn't cost any money to do this, but the powers that be, the insurance lobby, that are entirely unified in blocking healthcare justice at the state and at the federal level, they have so much money, and I can speak personally to doing everything I can. I'll knit berets until I'm 80 and my hands don't work anymore if I think that can get us healthcare. And I certainly do work on that creative front to try to raise money for a ballot initiative. And I also know that that if we do, and when we do get these signatures, the amount of money that they will dump into this, I just don't know that, I don't think that we can meet the moment. Whole Washington's going to continue to fundraise. If people don't want to donate, or rather, right now we're just in the process. The Health Security Project has not established as a Super PAC yet. If people can go and pledge if they wish to do that. If it's not something people want to support, they can go directly and donate to wholewashington.org or any of the other states that start to run initiatives. I certainly am not going to pressure people into donating or pledging their dollars to the Health Security PAC if it's not something that they want to get behind or trust. I'm here to say it is very difficult to raise grassroots money because it's poor people or people that are doing just enough okay out trying to ask other people that are doing okay. We're really out doing the work, knitting the berets, gathering the signatures, donating to our own causes. And again, like, I'm not trying to convince people, go pledge to the Super PAC if it's something you are fundamentally against, regardless if it's to fight fire with fire and it's not your thing. Go donate directly to Whole Washington, or do what you can to retweet and lift us up, or let somebody in Washington State or in Oregon know, hey, maybe you could go up and help gather some signatures. But I am here to say that we all know they're going to dump a shitload of money on top of Whole Washington or any other state that tries this. So that's my...
So I guess one way of addressing something like this would be, transparency. Is there something in place or ideas in place to make people feel comfortable about this. But and then another question, I'm not going to put it up. All right, maybe I'll find the comment and put it up on screen. Is are you going to be running like attack? What was the question? Are you going to be running attack ads? Like the money for the Super PAC is simply used to respond, is what you're saying, or is this also going to be used to gain signatures to pay for people to pay for like an agency to go out and get signatures? What is
Joe,
the
would you like to take that one?
what is the funding going to be used for from the Super PAC?
The steering committee for the Super PAC has made the determination that the political speech, the teaching of the principles of health system reform, what is Whole Washington really proposing? What is the truth about our current situation in healthcare? What will Whole Washington's proposed ballot initiative mean for families? That kind of political speech will be the priority. We want to support the transformation of American society from knowing that something's really wrong, having it gnawing at them and anxious about healthcare, to actually being able to articulate what it is and what Whole Washington's proposal will do about it, so that they know how to vote and know why they're voting that way. That's our priority. Yeah, we can pick other fights too, and we may, depending on how many funds we have, we may take on people who are really obstreperous and who are really getting in our way. But the priority is political speech to teach, to help people understand what it is they can do and why they need to do that.
Is was there like a vote on this to do the, like, how was the decision? Because it sounded like this could have been like a debate within your own ranks, where some people may have fell on one side and the other. How was the process of getting to the decision of saying, let's do a Super PAC? How was that process made?
I proposed it to a number of people who I had run into, mostly with through Laura. As I said, I come from an entirely different political corner of the universe than he does.
Right.
I didn't propose it until recently. I didn't propose it much around in Utah, but now I have a growing number of people who are working with me on these issues in Utah. And so Laura, through her, I was introduced to Georgia and other people. And eventually when we started with a larger number of people and people participated as they wanted to, it was a kind of a free will thing. We're down to a relatively smaller group, but it was all discussed and more or less unanimously embraced what our priorities are before we put the website out there.
I do want to say that the health security project, the American Health Security Project, is not something that, first of all, the Red Berets do not have an official, we are not a nonprofit. We did not incorporate, we do not have membership fees. We are a creative coalition of people that come together, essentially very non-hierarchical. How Sakuru organizes in California is his own methodology, and the same goes for Scott and anyone else. We collaborate with each other. We work together as a coalition, but there was no official vote, by the Red Berets to support or so very much the four members of the steering committee of the Health Security Project are Joe Jarvis, myself, Georgia Davenport, and Lisa Theobald. So although we certainly hope and think that the other people on this panel and other Red Berets are supportive, it's been our experience that they are. Anyone who wears a red beret or is crafting for this movement who is not in support of the Super PAC, that does not mean that they cannot consider themselves part of the Red Berets for Medicare for All creative coalition. People can have disagreements on this decision. It's an interconnected but separate formation, if you like. Does that answer the question?
It certainly does. I mean, there's tons of tons of. So maybe I should explain to everybody here, and maybe the doctor, because I'm not sure you would be familiar. This channel is kind of from a Marxist-Leninist channel. perspective. So there's a lot of our audience that comes from that sort of ideology. So you can imagine what they would think about super PACs.
Sure.
But I do want to just give you a sense of what people are saying about like the super PAC idea. Like this person says dark money is not the answer. I want to give voice to these people. So let's look through a couple just to give them the opportunity. Grassroots PAC, Incredible. And I'm picking the ones that don't have the profanity in it. So just so
Right.
you know, I'm not putting those ones on the screen. I'm putting the more
Jamin, you said, and I read in the chat, Jamin, that you need to leave the panel. Did
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't read in there. But if you need to drop out, you have any last words before you kind of drop out here? We're going to be ending maybe in another 20 minutes or so anyway, but do you have any final words before you jet out?
I do. I have to go for a reparations meeting with the citizens,
right
the
on.
Black citizens. Yeah, I have to get there. But I wanted to say, I've seen a whole bunch of them comments. There's a lot of live people in there talking about national and as opposed to state, and we're stepping outside of the box. We saw the madness that was happening at the national level, which is going to happen, as we said before. The more we get traction and we move, the crazier things are going to get. So it's not that we abandon any state or we're walking away from any state. National, of course, we want a national package. But when we seen that it wasn't actually going to happen right now, we wanted to take care of fellow Washingtonians, man. That's what we're doing. This isn't trying to, we're trying to take care of our own. We want to take care of everyone, but the system is not letting us at this time. So we wanted to just reach down and get to the grassroots here in Washington. I really wanted to say that because, you know, I had to get out of the regular chat because it was just crazy. And I understand where people are coming from. Like I said, we have to coalition build. And some of these people ideologically don't sit in the same box that we do. Mm-hmm. I like not sitting in any box. I like sitting where it's free, open. Everyone gets to, thoughts are open. That's where I want to be. But once we saw the madness that was happening on the national level, we decided to take care of our own because we do only have 8 months to do this. So it's not like we're stepping out on the national effort. We're stepping up for our fellow Washingtonians. And I'll yield the floor at that.
Yeah.
And thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'll take you out. Thank you for joining. That is a critique I had not heard of. I mean, not until I saw the comments. I had not heard of that there is a segment of people that don't agree with the state by state strategy. They just want to do national. That is not something I was aware of. He's still back there. Did he have anything else?
I think it's really important that people understand that a lot of we need organizations that are willing to get out and grow a nonpartisan healthcare justice database. So, for example, when Whole Washington goes out and collects all of these signatures, it isn't only in service to getting healthcare for Washingtonians. We have on our petition a section where people can opt in. They don't have to, but they can choose to add their information to receive emails and text messages. And a lot of people do choose to opt in on that. In other words, when we go and we're either successful collecting 100, 200, or all the way up to 400,000 signatures, we are bringing in 400,000 people to the Medicare for All database. Now, if people want to go and check the receipts on both my Twitter feed, Whole Washington, any of the core organizers of Whole Washington, we can go back and see as recently as the healthcare hearings. I won't call them Medicare for All hearings because only a part of the hearings in Washington, D.C. were for Medicare for All. Nevertheless, H.R. 1976, Jayapal's bill was heard in those hearings. And Georgia Davenport and Catherine Lewandowski, and a couple of people went to those hearings. Whole Washington and Backbone campaign did a light projection for the grassroots. There wasn't very much in terms of those hearings to really represent the cry, the rallying cry of the grassroots. Give us health care now. There went, and Georgia and Jen and I were at the first historic hearings. What do we do at a grassroots level here in Washington State? We go and organize rallies. We organize in conjunction with national nurses, barnstorms all across the state to try to put pressure on these representatives that are still not co-sponsoring. However, everybody can see exactly how much co-sponsorship actually means in this movement, right? We have the prime sponsor of Medicare for All and her caucus. Everyone knows I'm talking about Representative Jayapal, who still has not endorsed Whole Washington, and that is not... it's actually literally been years that we've been asking for this endorsement. And there goes the U.S. Progressive Caucus endorsing someone who, Chantel Brown, who, as everyone knows, has taken tons of corporate money to be elected. And what is my point? My point is, Whole Washington and in any other states that are going to go out and collect signatures and grow the ground game and grow the grassroots database in an organization that's willing to work in a nonpartisan coalition building way is an asset to the movement, right? So we're not just gathering signatures to try to pass universal health care in Washington, although that is the goal. We are actually also growing a database where we can reach out to our volunteers and mobilize them on actions for national when there are opportunities. And so we continue to fight on all fronts. We continue to put these actions out to try to pressure. But I would submit to people that have criticisms, let's look at what is the difference between building a bottom-up strategy or a strategy where we are looking at politicians from the top down to try to pass this. We do actually need, if we wanted to pass national improved Medicare for all, that's got to be done from the top down. That's done through a process. We can fight the process. We can disagree with the process by which a bill becomes a law. Nevertheless, that is the way that it's done in this country. The other way it's done is for us to circumvent the corrupt legislature, and that's what we're about to do in Washington State. And the more people that we bring into the fold and get into our database, the more people we're able to mobilize for all kinds of actions. So again, it just comes down to, we need the groundswell. We need the groundswell, and we need everybody out in the streets having these face-to-face discussions. All right, I'm sorry.
I do have a question, and that is, what I'm trying to understand is, why is donating to a super PAC different than donating to you directly? Like the people who would donate to your super PAC. Why is this is something I don't know. So I'm not asking this because I don't know much about super PAC. So I'm trying to learn that. But what's different can you donate a larger amount to a super PAC than to you? Like, how does that work? Like, why would somebody get a super PAC over, like you were mentioning earlier, they can just donate you to Whole Washington directly? Doctor, I'll go to Doctor since you're kind of more well versed in this.
Well, let me defer first to Brandy, who's indicated she would like to weigh in, and we'd love to have
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. Go
ahead.
So we'll defer to Brandy first.
You can go ahead and answer that question.
No, that's all right. That's all right, Brandy. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, I saw somebody said that I was not in a state that could do ballot initiatives. We actually can here in Arkansas. Not only can we do ballot initiatives, we can actually do amendments to our state constitution here in Arkansas. So, I follow your channel. I follow all of you on Twitter. That's actually how I got connected with the Red Berets, was during the
General Strike, maybe?
Yeah.
The General Strike Summit. Yeah.
Summit. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And
Awesome. Well, that's great to hear that you were able to connect with them. And this is my bottom line and what I have to say with it. You know, I don't agree with super PACs. It's not my thing, but I'm not a person that thinks that I'm gonna go jump in front of someone else driving to a destination of healthcare. Like, I'm not gonna do that.
yeah,
Like, I may not say, hey, I'm not down for super PACs, but I don't get the let me put them down. Let me go over here and talk bad about them. That's the part that I don't necessarily understand. Like you were saying, if you don't support that, you don't have to. If you don't support the super PAC, then don't donate to the super PAC. If you have a problem with them getting a super PAC, then do something else to try to get health care. You get what I'm saying? We have these options. Like, I don't support a super PAC, but guess what? I'm doing many other things to try to move this forward. So you get what I'm saying? So that's all I'm saying. I look at it like this. Maybe, and I'm going to use a military term only because it's the quickest way for people to understand. Maybe the fight is healthcare, but maybe you're in the Navy. Maybe I'm in the Army. Maybe somebody else is in the Air Force. It's the same. We're still imperialists, if I'm using the correct wording. We're still like on the same team fighting the same, but we're using different tactics. One's using land, and maybe that's the case here. So that's what I have to say about that. But anybody else wanted to chime in? I heard somebody kind of mention something.
If I may, fighting on all fronts. Just want to give a big plug to the New York Health Act. We have about 2.5 months left to our legislative session. This bill has already passed the Assembly 4 times. It's been written for 40 years now. And last year was the first time we had for the first time the Senate majority. And it was not called to a vote because we had the majority vote for once. So I'm asking anybody watching, make sure you get on the phone with your senators, your legislators, call them and tell them we need to get this bill called for a vote. We can actually have it passed through the legislative session this year. Within the next couple of months, we could have it passed through the legislative session for universal health care here in New York and take that money away from those that would kill us rather than see us get health care. So follow Campaign for New York Health, go to their website, make a donation to them. They've got a bunch of actions going on. Just want to make sure everybody is aware of the New York Health Act and help us out with that one.
Yeah, I want to kind of go around because we got maybe 10 minutes or so to. I want to go around and kind of give everybody, and I'll start with you, Zakuru, because I haven't heard you talk in a long time. You've been kind of listening. So what say you? You've been listening to all of this. What say you? Is there any part of the discussion that jumps out that you just been kind of holding your tongue that you want to say something about? It doesn't have to be about the super PAC, but any other item. And then also just kind of give us your final thoughts on closing out of this episode, final thoughts on your efforts, what you're trying to do, and the fighting the good fight. So your thoughts.
Yeah, thank you. So like everyone on this panel said, while I'm in California and I support state-based effort, I am for Medicare for all. If we can get it at the national level, yes, of course. That's the ultimate goal, right? So yeah, let me just say that. Let me just be clear about that. Having said that, okay, so for one, I am also a signature captain for whole Washington. And people may wonder why, right? Because I don't live there. I live in California. But here is the demonstration that, like, we as Red Berets care about, other people in other states as well. Because as everyone was, again, as everyone here was saying, if one state, 2 states can get this, that will open the floodgates, right? So that's why I will support. I will support with my actions whole Washington's effort, by being a signature captain and collecting signatures for Washington State. So let me just close by saying like what's happening in California. So Jay, you are in California, right? No, you're based in.
I am. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
So California, as you know, as everyone knows, Calcare failed, or I don't want to say failed.
Yeah.
Calcare got killed, right?
Got killed.
So
It didn't fail. That's true.
Yeah. We didn't fail. It got killed. So there are a bunch of things that we were talking about, and again, inside the state of California, we are fighting on all fronts as well. So some people are exploring reintroducing some kind of bill, down the road. Some of us are talking about ballot initiative. I'm part of it because, frankly, I really do not think that people in Sacramento will pass the bill. I really don't think so because of the reason Dr. Jarvis talked about, Laura talked about. There's too much money, too much money in the politics right now. People in Sacramento are not going to pass the bill. So my opinion, I am all for doing a ballot initiative, and I'm behind it in California. And being a person of color, being an immigrant, Asian, transgender person, with going forward with ballot initiative, I think it's critical that us like marginalized groups take the lead, because it's gonna be a people's fight. It's gonna be the people's fight, ultimately. So that's why my efforts right now is concentrated, it's focused upon building bridges across groups, across minority and marginalized groups, because we have to join our forces together and get behind this. So that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Let's go to Scott. Scott, you have your personal reason for doing this. You want other people not to experience what you experience. So, what do you have? What are your final words? You heard the discussion. You heard some of the pushback from some people, some in the comments, some that you've heard in person.
I mean,
what do you have to say as a final last words? Go ahead.
Yeah, you nailed it, brother. I mean, you nailed it. We have to do this together. You don't jump out and stop somebody from going forward. You just don't. You don't have to agree with our path for, getting a couple of states passed, but don't stop us. Don't get in our way. And I'll call him right out, real progressive, Stephen Grumbine. Him and I were really close friends before all of this chaos ensued, or at least so I thought. And when he's telling me to put my weapon down and stop fighting and wait until we have a national path forward, no. I've heard way too many parents reach out to me to tell me that they understand my pain because they lost their own kids. We're trying to save lives here. We don't have time to wait. Every single one of these states, if we get one of them passed, how many lives are we going to save? It's not a matter of politics, right, wrong. Right is saving lives. Wrong is taking money instead of saving lives. I also am headed out to Washington in a couple of weeks to be a signature captain. That's after I do my lobbying here in New York for the New York Health Act. And if they need me out in California for CalCare, I'll be there. If Dr. Jarvis needs me to head out to Utah to get signatures, I'll be there. I can't do this myself. And every single one of these places I go, because I still couldn't afford Danny's medicine today if I needed to, is all because of people that donate. And I can't thank them all enough, because I can't stop fighting until we win. And we have to win so I can stop fighting, because I hate this shit. I hate this shit a lot.
Right.
So everybody
nobody
can help
likes
I appreciate.
Nobody likes putting themselves out there, going, making signs all the time, having to protest something that should be. It's pretty simple. Everybody knows that we need healthcare. Every human needs healthcare, and this is what's bizarre to me. And I'm gonna go to the next person, Jen. I'll come to you. Healthcare. What's bizarre is that healthcare is put in the realm of insurance. Insurance is if something happens. healthcare is, I need to go as a preventative measure. Like, they seem to be opposites. They seem to not function together. Like, if you mesh them together, one of them is not going to operate right. So if we were to keep the system in place, but make it, no, $1 a month, then the insurance company is going to go broke. That's because they're not supposed to be meshed together. You're not supposed to have an in case something happens for healthcare, in my opinion. So let's go to Jen. Jen, you had all the numbers for what actually needs to be the signatures that need to be gotten in the state. You've heard some of the pushback. You've heard some of the response to that pushback. What say you? And what is sort of your last parting words for whole Washington and for this discussion?
Well, I think you were about to hit on something that I was just about to say, that I can't believe that we have to do this. This is so absurd that we have to get 400,000 signatures on pieces of paper. And it's because our elected officials are failing us. They're not just failing us, they're stonewalling us. And we have a gift. We're very fortunate to have this mechanism, and we have to use it. Like, what else is it for? Like, this is specifically why it exists. Like, we have reached the end of the line. Like, there's no other game in town as far as I'm concerned. Like, yeah, we can rally to fight for Medicare for all nationally, and we're still doing that. But there's this element of hope and trust in elected officials that just doesn't manifest into anything. Like, it always stops there. And the ballot initiative is the way to push through. And I just so appreciate everybody that's willing. God, people coming from other states to do this. That's just mind blowing. I really, really appreciate you for doing that. Like, this is what we have to do for each other. We've got to show up. So thanks for having us on today, Jay.
No, absolutely. Thanks for coming on. I'm gonna just toss some comments up as you're still talking. So we're gonna go to Brandy and then the doctor. Brandy, I know you joined late, but you still made it, and that's all that matters. So, but this is your opportunity. What do you want to? What are your final words? Your closing comments about everything that we've talked about thus far?
Well, I live in a solidly red state. Our legislator has a super majority in both the House and the Senate for our state legislator. So I see ballot initiatives as a way for the populace to kind of go beyond them and not depend on them. And so through that, we've gotten medical marijuana. We're gathering signatures now. Arkansas True Grass is to get enough signatures to get recreational marijuana on the ballot. We got a minimum wage increase through ballot initiatives, which was not supported by our state legislator. And so I see that as a way for us to fight without having to depend on electoralism and politics.
Absolutely. Thank you, Brandy. And we're going to end with you, Laura. So let's go to the doctor. Your closing remarks, your closing push for anybody that may be listening, maybe that could help in this effort. What say you?
I'll use the words of Old Testament prophets. For the hurt of my people, I am hurt. We're not taking care of each other. We're not allowing ourselves to reach out and put hands on each other. Instead, we're allowing the elites of our country to rule us with force and harshness. We need to get back to our constitutional roots, which are to form a more perfect union, to promote the general welfare. We need to do what's right for our people. That's what good governance is all about. And this healthcare is the sentinel domestic issue of my lifetime. I don't want to see my grandchildren struggle with this. I want it done. I'm devoting myself to this and have done for 30 years. Let's keep working on it.
That is a very admirable, doctor. And we're gonna end with make sure. Yeah, I got everybody. So Laura, we'll let you sort of give the final closing remarks before I end here. What say you about the project, about whole Washington, about the signature gathering, about anything else, any other surrounding sort of satellite issues around the same topic? What say you?
Oh gosh, I can't freeze up right now. I really I like that that other people's closing thoughts are ending with gratitude, because I also am just really, really appreciative and moved that people are willing to show up for each other and maybe even travel to help one state open the floodgates. I think one of the things that's the most missing, we don't need any false hope in this movement. We don't need hope where there isn't any, but where there are actual people willing to get out in the streets and fight for human beings to have health care and show up for each other. I think that's the real hope. That's real work. And so I'm very grateful and very excited to see some of my fellow Red Berets and whole Washington signature captains pretty soon. We don't really have, we do have some exciting announcements, but they're still in the formation of happening. But my final words of thanks are for you, Jay, for inviting us on to share with RBN. I really appreciate everything that you all are doing. I look to you to be pushed further left, especially when I get I know, electoral, you were talking earlier in the live stream about Nina Turner being people's blind spot. And I sometimes feel like, either she's still my blind spot or I've still got that thing of, probably because I've knit a lot of Red Berets to her message. But literally what I want to say to anyone who's running as a Democrat for sure is this is the last vestiges of we need, if anyone is elected as a Democrat, I know and I hope you understand that the only thing that's left is if you're willing to lift up and pull up the grassroots and use your platform to amplify us. That's the last bit of and if that doesn't happen, that's just, but that's why the Red Berets are not waiting around for that to happen. I have a bit of hope left for that. We will see what happens. But we're out gathering the signatures, and lastly, to Joe Jarvis, who, being a fellow Utahn, and I'm from conservative rural Utah. Obviously, I'm pretty far left, but we connected, and just the idea that a 30-year public health physician took an interest in a grassroots documentary, a creative approach to showing the movement for Medicare for All, and was willing to get involved and help, and is now going to come up and visit Washington State really soon. So we have some exciting news and announcements coming for early June, but that's not kind of all planned out yet. So I guess we'll save that and kind of announce it when it's a little bit more clear. But that was a very circuitous way of just saying thank you. And, I in terms of the ballot initiatives, I do want to say one more thing, because I know that we're not going to convince people who maybe disagree with this strategy. That's not my goal, but I do want people to understand we are not, we understand the critique and the criticism that there are states that cannot run ballot initiatives, and what about them? And are we leaving people behind? There's laws happening in Arkansas and in Washington and frankly, probably all over the place. They're shutting those gates on us in terms of even the ballot initiative. When Jen said, we have this tool for those of us that do have this tool, we have got to use it, because you're damn right. The establishment sees us. They see this last crevice of opportunity, this last crevice of light that we have, that the people can rise up to do this, and they're trying to shut those gates on us. This is one of the reasons I say we have to open the floodgates. We have to push open the floodgates, just like Saskatchewan did over 50 years ago. And if we're willing to stand arm in arm, we can find ways to help through the Red Berets and our creative coalition building. We can find ways to help people put their people power to the best use, even if they cannot run a ballot initiative. We just need to get creative. We need to build our network and support each other. We're not leaving anyone behind. We need a national single payer system, and we know this. So
that is something I have to brush myself up on. I still don't understand that critique of you're doing it at a state level because it's not getting done. I don't understand that. So I need to read up just to even understand the perspective of that critique. I just don't. I don't get that as saying that you're giving up because you're starting at the state. Really don't get that. But thank all of you for joining for this segment. It was an important segment. I did give you a heads up that people were going to ask about the Super PAC, and you're still here. You still answered the questions, so I'm happy for that. So thank you again for that. All of you were great, and I'm sure we'll have you back on the network to just get an update on what's happening with the signatures, see where you're at there, maybe in a month or so, because that's a tall task. That's something like 50,000 signatures a month. So that's a tall task. So I don't divide it by day, because that's how I do it. Because when I was looking at California ballot initiatives, ours is at over 600,000 because we're a lot bigger state. And I narrowed it down like that day, and it was something like 1,700 signatures per day we needed to get, and that's with a full 12 months. So when you can take 4 months out of that, so yeah, so I get it. Let me make sure. Thank you to. Let me make sure I cover everything. All right, so I'm gonna start to take all of you out of the stream. Thank you so much for joining us, and I'm going to be signing off, giving my last thoughts before this stream. We do have another stream coming up with JB, Disability Rights, and Michelle. Who else is going to be on that stream? The People's Voice. So today is a very jam-packed day. I've been on up until now. I'm going to take about an hour break, and then I'll be back on for like 3 hours, and then right after that, Nick will be on. So today you're getting full RBN pretty much all day with very small breaks. And I also wanted to address a couple of things. I did see most of the comments, not all, because I don't have the time to look at the comments when I have 8 people that I'm trying to talk to. So I didn't see all the comments, but when I popped in, I did see certain comments. The comments about starting at state level. I still don't understand that perspective, but before I can give a reply to it, I need to understand it better, to understand where is that coming from, because I don't get the logic in that being one of the critiques. And then as far as the super PACs, so there's a couple of things. There was a person that said something about deplatforming and platforming. So deplatforming and platforming isn't a thing at all. I don't buy into that. They're simply having conversations. And what RBN does is have people on to have conversations, even if I disagree with them. That's what happens here. If you're not fine with that, maybe you should go back to the red-blue game, because you're participating in red-blue games without voting for them. your approach to politics is steeped in the red-blue game. Just because you don't pull the lever for red and blue, don't mean you're not still practicing the game of the duopoly. The whole phrasing of platform and deplatforming, that's one of those things. No such thing. You have a conversation with persons, with people, and that's it. And then I said I don't agree with super PACs. I don't support super PACs. But some of you are equating what Washington that's an old banking. What whole Washington is doing to gain health care, you're equating that with the Koch brothers. You're missing me with that one. Like, you can be against super PACs and not support them because they're a super PAC, but don't try to make this to seem the same. That's like saying it's the same fight that Israel and Palestine is having. Stop it. Like, stop it. So, like, be genuine. Like, let's not like get off in the weeds with this sort of critiquing. And I'll end with this comment here. CJ isn't platforming, he's having conversations with Red. That's it. It's called having conversations. We should try doing that here and there. It actually helps, It helps with life, makes life easier and better when you have conversations with people, in particular, people you don't agree with. So I'm going to end with a video, historical videos like I normally do with these episodes. So here's one of Malcolm X. After this video, the stream will be cut. So I'm not coming back after the video. This is key, revolutionary discipline. I'll leave you with this video, and thank you for joining. I'll be back in like an hour with disability rights. Make sure you join us for that. All disability rights activist JB, fellow RBN, and also Michelle, who's also a Green Party person. I think she's a delegate, but don't quote me on that. All right, so I'll leave you with this video, and I'm going to take a break, and I'll be back later. Where is it at?
You don't get freedom peacefully. Freedom is never safeguarded peacefully. Anyone who is depriving you of freedom isn't deserving of a peaceful approach by the ones who are being deprived of their freedom. And when black people in this country come out from under the mental straitjacket that the Negro clergymen have placed them in and begin to